Friends, if you're looking for real old school laughs, you're in for a treat because we've got them right here. Flip City Magazine. Remember Mad Magazine? Then it went woke? Well, don't worry. Flip City has no chance of going woke. That's right. 4 times a year, you'll get an actual printed magazine full of jokes, stories, comics, and more, all about today's pop culture, entertainment, and woke politics. Flip City takes terrible entertainment trends we love to hate with hilarious parodies of Lord of the Rings, Stranger Things, The Walking Dead, Star Trek, Hunters, and more. Trust me when I say there is nothing else like Flip City on the market. So subscribe today. It will be delivered in print, or you can even get it digitally if you're one of those wacky Zoomers. Either way, follow our link and sign up today, and if you put in midnight, you get an extra 10% off. Check out Flip City Magazine today.
If I ever lost my little lover, I'd fall apart. You showed me a life I'll never forget. 'Cause I'm in love, yes I'm in love with a midget. Such a little package, but a whole lot of love. She may look up at me, but she's an angel from above. I'm in love with a midget. I'm in love with a midget. She's fun size. She knows just how to do me right. Even at half the height, yeah. Such a little package, but a whole lot of love. She may look up at me, but she's an angel from above. I'm in love with a midget. Love with a midget. Love with a midget. Where were you when they put Donnie in chains? Where were you when they spat in America's face? Did you cry when they burned down your city? Don't you care about how things have got so shitty? Yeah, things just weren't the same and everything went insane. I just can't understand what happened to Uncle Sam. No, he's now a they, them, non-binary and gay. And old Lady Liberty had now become a man. Oh, I almost lost hope, and we almost lost all of our freedom. Man, shit is just so stupid and dumb. Couldn't get why so many men wanted to be a girl. But then there was the mugshot. Heard around the world, heard around the world. The mugshot heard around the world. Making America great again. Yeah. Yeah. Bitch better have my money. I material man, living in a material land. I need the type of things that go bling, bling, bling. I need a woman with a 9 to 5. If she wants to keep this romance alive, that's right now, bitch, better have my money. Ain't get no deal unless you got the case, honey. If you ain't got no bank in your trunk, then you ain't gonna get none of my spunk. That's right. No spunk for you, baby. Gravy, oh, baby, gravy. No, baby. Ain't nothing going on. Ain't nothing going on but the rent. But if you ain't got honeys, then you might as well depend. I need a woman who's gonna smoke me right. With skin like silk and soft as cotton. I'm high, yeah, high maintenance and hard to please. I need a lady gonna take care of me. I ain't about to get no job at no fucking Mickey D's, but I will take another one. Supersize, baby, please, that's right. Please, sugar mama. Now, bitch, better have my money. She ain't getting no deal unless you got the case, honey. And if you ain't got no bank in your trunk, then bitch, you ain't getting, then you ain't gonna get none of my spunk. That's right, no baby, no baby. No spicy spunk. No baby gravy. If you wanna be lazy, I need a sugar mama who ain't gonna say no, who always takes me anywhere I wanna go, and buys me a car that I never fucking drive. If she wants to keep this romance alive, that's right now, bitch, better have my money. Ain't getting no deal unless you got the cash, honey. If you ain't got no bank in your trunk, then you ain't gonna get none of my spunk. My spunk in your trunk, no spunk in your trunk, no, none of my spunk. Baby gravy, bitch, better have my money. Ain't getting no deal unless you got the keys, honey. If you ain't got no bank in your trunk, then you ain't gonna get none of my spunk. I need a woman who's heaven sent and who's gonna spend every single cent. That's right now, bitch, better have my money. Ain't getting no deal unless you got keys, honey. If you ain't got no bank in your trunk, then you ain't gonna get none of my spunk, my baby gravy. My baby gravy. But baby, come get your gravy. Bitch, better have my money. Bitch, better have my money. I'm a material man. Ain't giving it unless you got the cash, honey. If you ain't got no bank in your trunk, then you ain't gonna get none of my spunk. That's right, no spunk for you. My spicy spunk is off limits. Bitch, limitless. Better have my money. Ain't nothing going on limitless, but the motherfucking rent, honey.
Television highlights of the news of yesteryear.
It's that time once again. Welcome to the weekly wrap up. Midnight Sunshine after dark. That's right.
And there was much rejoicing,
Filmed in front of a live studio audience.
happiness, and joy.
It's better than a dead one.
Happy,
That
happy,
audience?
joy,
Yes.
joy, happy, happy, joy, joy, joy.
You know, happiness is hard.
Yeah. Well,
It
I stayed up late
is.
last night. So.
We have tonight on the
What's his
weekly
name?
wrap up Andy Masterson.
Hey. Andy.
Hello, everyone.
How are you
Yeah, bud.
doing?
Not too bad so far. But it's
It's hardly yet.
Sunday. So, the
It's
rest of the week
Sunday
pick us
Night
up?
Live
Good one, Don Pardo.
with Culture Casino.
Hey, everybody. Yes, I'm last night was Flashcast, so I was up way past my bedtime.
Musical
Wasn't that what you
guest,
did last week?
Lindsey Buckingham.
What?
Nice.
Flashcast.
Flashcast is like a CVS receipt. It just goes on and on.
like
I
that. Good one.
understood that reference.
I got that reference. Nice.
Wow.
Well done, son. Well done.
And also joining us, Mr. Clobbering Times. How you doing?
Hey there, buddy. Thanks for letting me stop by. Good to see you all.
Good to see you and glad to have you.
Thank
We also have with us all 32 flavors of Nick Weiser. How you doing?
Good man. Happy to be here. Happy Sunday evening. And for those who can, happy Labor Day weekend as well. Just glad I could be here once for a weekly wrap up.
It's Sunday.
Jets versus funny cards.
That's right. Also with us tonight, the one, the only Toxic Man Flu. I heard you're spreading around Burning Man.
I am like a plague. It's me at the end going, hi-oh. It all started with those climate idiots blocking the road.
Oh yeah.
And then I think it was tribal police
Hi,
and
Tom.
state troopers that, Tom left us, that drove right through them. So, yeah, I mean, you're out in the middle of the desert and you're blocking traffic from people that are sitting out there in the middle of the desert, not set up, not anywhere there. You're not protesting climate change. You're killing people.
They're not people, they're hippies.
Maybe so.
And exactly, they're hippies. But if it wasn't for hippies, we wouldn't have Cartman being able to drive through the hippies with the drill today.
Yeah.
That was
I have
great.
a T-shirt idea that I'm going to put into implementation for these guys. Stay tuned.
Nice.
Yeah, in all seriousness, I guess they're spreading Ebola. Which one of them brought a fucking monkey?
That's not confirmed yet. I wouldn't jump on that
Mhm.
narrative.
Serves them right. Damn hippies.
Dang it.
They're not people, they're hippies.
I mean, there's a lot of confusion about what.
I think they're just all sad because Jimmy Buffett died.
Well, yes.
I'm
Living
very
on
sad 'cause
sponge
Jimmy
I
cake.
don't know.
I am sad because Jimmy Buffett's great.
Yeah, but I don't know that they were like any of those Burning Man kids were,
Some of the ones that I saw in that video were all older and angry.
They're a bunch of old hippies.
Yeah,
Uh,
nothing wrong with that, I guess. Well, yeah, there is. But anyway,
wait a minute. Are you taking shots?
at what? You're not an old hippie.
Oh, that's true.
I'm a cheeseburger in paradise.
Amen to that.
I'm I got
Permanent solution to a temporary problem.
whales to the left of me.
A little too
Clowns
much
to the right.
information time.
Right.
Yeah, just a tad bit.
Both my kids were conceived after Jimmy Buffett concerts.
Interesting.
Mm.
I wonder how many were conceived at Jimmy Buffett concerts.
Several.
One was named Margarita.
Mm.
There you go.
Wasting away.
Wasting away. And Margarita.
Wasting away again.
Some people
I actually got to see
the
the Broadway show that they put on here in Chicago for a little while. It was pretty cool. Great songs. We had to meet some of the band. Jimmy wasn't there. We missed opening night, but we got after that.
His
lot of fun.
concerts were the most fun. Tailgating at a Jimmy Buffett concert was like, there are bands that I like better, but I've never had more fun than tailgating at a Jimmy Buffett concert.
Not anybody that ever gets angry at a Jimmy Buffett concert. You know,
Everybody's high. You only get
exactly.
you only get into fights when you're drunk.
That's right.
I saw him at the MGM Arena thing in Vegas, and there was nobody in that building that wasn't high.
Yes,
Because
it was a giant building.
even if you went in there with nothing, the crowd made sure you were covered.
The best part about a Jimmy Buffett concert is somewhere in the parking lot, there was somebody that set up a tiki bar and
Oh,
they
yeah.
would give out shots for girls that would flash.
Yep.
So all you
Nice.
had to do was sit next to the tiki bar and
Right?
you had your
Is that the
entertainment.
where Flashcast came from?
Free boobs.
Oh,
Nothing better than free boobs. In all senses of the word.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. This is true.
How about that,
And the audience agrees. Yes. Free the boobs.
Of course, of course.
Anyway, and this is for Mr. Buffett.
Smoke weed every day.
That's right. All right. With that, we have no Paul tonight. I don't know if he's going to show up or not. He hasn't answered yet. I think Script Doctor is going to try and hop in here sooner or later. We may have some other people pop in, but we're not going to waste too much time. We don't have any super chats or member chats to get to. So let's get right into our list.
Oh boy.
We need like an intro thing for this.
Yeah.
That's what we need. It's a list of the week on the weekly wrap up. That's dumb. I got to redo that. We're gonna have to work on that culture.
Okay.
Let's talk about the 51st remakes of all time, according to this thing here on the Microsoft Networks thingy.
Oh.
Who wrote this? I don't know. Doesn't even have an author.
Jeremy.
Oh,
Piven.
Jacob Osborne. There we go. I didn't scroll up enough. There we go.
Oh, I see.
Jacob Osborne again.
From the family of Osborns.
Sharon!
Man, that so ruined Ozzy.
yeah.
No, I think the drugs ruined. See?
Yeah, all right. Physically, you are correct. You're physically correct. I guess you could say as far as persona.
Honestly,
and
if
the
he hadn't,
character,
if he hadn't
the
been that
show
burnt
ruined
out
it.
at that point, he never would have done that show. There's no way if he wouldn't have been burnt out at that point, because he'd have had his faculties and he'd be like, "I'm not doing that stupid shit."
Well, it made them hundreds of millions of dollars.
Well, yeah, because
This is true. It's one of the
Sharon
biggest
needs his
shows of all
money.
time. Yeah.
She needs his money to give it go. That's why she won't let him stop from trying to retire. The dude has been trying to reschedule a tour for what, 4 years?
I'm gonna keep
And
my
Sharon
thoughts
like
on
there's
that.
still a chance. It's like, no, bitch, he's done. Let him rest already.
I was gonna say I'll keep my thoughts on that bitch to myself. But anyway, let's not even get into the whole Randy Rhoads, her business, whatever. Anyway, 50 worst movies remakes. While Hollywood remakes are certainly nothing new, of course they're not. They're actually one of the greatest traditions, going back to 1904, according to Jacob here, and it's true. That was when director Sigmund Lubin released his own take on the seminal short film The Great Train Robbery from the previous year. Featuring the same title and plot, Lubin injected a little more violence and style into his version. He also evaded a newly implemented copyright law in order to make as much profit as possible. Robbery, indeed. Intellectual property laws have changed in the time since, but Hollywood remake is most definitely indoors. In 2020, a dozen remakes, that's it, of classic films have hit theaters and streaming services. By some estimates, there are more than 100 remakes currently in the works. That does not surprise me. Sometimes filmmakers are motivated by a genuine desire to update a classic story for a modern audience. In other scenarios, the remake is a little more than a shameless cash grab or an uninspired retread to formalic territory. Once in a while, these remakes are mega hits, like the 1954 version of A Star is Born or the 1957 reboot of An Affair to Remember. More often than not, however, they are complete flops. And of course, insert your, Thing or Scarface or what have you here. The Fly, whatever. Enter the 51st remakes of all time. For the list, Stacker, who I guess put this together, ranked each film according to its IMDb rating. In case of a tie, the total number of user votes was taken into consideration. The list includes films of all genres. So here we go. Let's break into this list. Who gives a shit what else Jacob has to say at this point? Number 50, Down to Earth. I didn't hate this movie.
Never seen it.
But it
Haven't
is
seen
a
the
remake of
timer.
Heaven Can Wait, which is also a remake of a.
So this is a remake of Heaven Can Wait.
Yeah, which was also a remake, if I'm not mistaken, too,
Yes,
isn't
it
it?
was. Well, Heaven Can Wait was a remake of another Heaven Can Wait, wasn't it? It was like two of them.
Yeah, there was like 2 or 3 of them before that. So, and that's the other thing. Like, before we get into this list too far, there's a lot of movies that traditionally just get remade. Like even King Kong is one of those movies that I don't give a shit how many different versions we get of it. Because to me, it's just one of those seminal films that is all like. Every time we get new technology, I don't care if we get a new King Kong, right? Like it's.
It bothers me from the sense that the first one, it took for when you go like 30 or 40 years without anyone touching it, because you got all these other monster movies, and people realize that was the one that stood out, the Willis O'Brien original. And then along comes a sleaze bag like Dilo De Laurentiis, and just to with big technology to take over now. Everybody should.
I have such a soft spot for that one, though, man.
Remember, when John Belushi played him on Saturday Night Live in the sketch? Goes, everybody should love my Kong. My Kong and die, she make you cry. It's like, it was just, it was just such a waste. All it does is show how great the O'Brien version is to me. And then all these years later, of all people, Peter Jackson, comes out on one hand says, "I love the Willis O'Brien movies. O'Brien movie was just wonderful, but I want to remake it." To me, those two sentences don't go together. I love this movie, but I want to remake it. They don't go together to me. I don't understand the mentality.
Agreed. I think it is the epitome of hubris when you have a classic and somebody comes along and thinks that they can do a better job.
It's not about doing a better job, though, I don't think. But
why remake it, though, if you truly, truly adore it? Go do something inspired by it, like many other filmmakers do.
That's literally how many different copies of the 76 Kong I have.
Mighty Joe Young is the best remake.
Not even counting any DVDs.
Mighty Joe Young was good.
It was inspired by it. It wasn't a remake. Exactly why it worked,
Right.
and it was fun. Yeah. Because no one remembers the sequel, Son of Kong.
I have a soft spot for all the Kongs. I don't care. I'm sorry.
Well, you might be forgiven one day. We'll see.
Hey, I
even watched Gorgo this afternoon.
What's what? You watched what?
Gorgo.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Which is basically the U.S. ripoff of Godzilla.
Right. Now, ripoffs and remakes, a fine line, mind you, but yeah. So what else?
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, we haven't even talked about 50.
Sorry.
Down to Earth. No. I just wanted to get that out there because I don't hate remakes. I don't mind them usually unless they're really bad, like Ghostbusters.
This wasn't a very good film, and it had 2 great actors in it.
I remember liking it though.
Oh man,
I don't know why.
I was very disappointed. I was like, they had so much room with these two guys. I don't know. Man.
Well, evidently I was wrong because it's got a Metascore of 32, an IMDb rating of 5.5, which considering that's low, that's the lowest this has gone so far, and this is 50. Does it get worse from here or does it get better from here?
Yeah.
That's my question because
I don't know.
like, yeah, I mean, and this was directed, I believe, by the guys who did American Pie, if I'm not mistaken, too.
The whites.
Yeah.
What was I doing?
There you go.
Yeah, it didn't live on too far. I think it just finally got a Blu-ray release quietly here last year, actually. So, and we got 9 months. I didn't know this was a remake. I guess it was a French comedy, so they're counting into French movies in here.
Yeah.
Oh, lame.
Man,
I haven't seen it. Did actually never even heard of it. At least Down to Earth, I've heard.
I don't hate this movie. It has one of the best Tom, what's his face? Tom Arnold. Yeah, it has one of his best jokes ever in it.
I think Tom Arnold's best performance is still True Lies.
Oh, definitely. But
Yeah.
this is one of his other best performances right here in this movie. He's basically playing almost the same part, which is hilarious.
Oh, okay.
Because there's this one bit where he's like talking to him at the front door, and he's not like his wife doesn't want he doesn't want his wife to know or whatever. And she's like, "Honey, who are you talking to?" She's like, "I'm talking to my dad." And he's like, "He's dead." I know, it's really weird. It's like one of the best jokes in the movie. But anyway, we also have 70s rock fan joining us.
Good evening.
Hey.
Whoa,
guys.
it's
How
a
you doing?
party.
Yeah, wanker.
Wank.
You're here for a movie starring another wanker. No, I'm just kidding. Well, not self-inflicted. I think he got somebody else to do it.
Not only that, this was directed by Chris Columbus.
Remember him?
He was big at the time, man.
Yeah.
Did they make movies back in 1492?
He did. He discovered
Okay.
movies.
He discovered movies. You're right.
That's right. No,
Yeah,
that was all a lie. Movies
First
were
cast
already
Jennifer
there.
Lawrence.
It was Jennifer Lawrence, yeah.
Exactly.
Not this time. He had written Gremlins and co-wrote Goonies, I believe. Had moved up to directing with Home Alone. So this was, I think, one of his follow-ups a couple years after and I thought it did well in the box office though. But evidently the rating is not good. I did not know it was a remake, but I guess it's a remake of a French comedy called Neuf Mos.
It almost doesn't count. There've been so many of these American remakes of foreign.
Yeah, that's
films.
what I was going to say. Is does that really count if they're remaking a foreign
Yeah.
film?
I don't think so. They've done so many.
Because
Just
like
we
3
had-
Men and a Baby,
Yeah.
Birdcage, all that stuff.
yeah, that's nitpicky, but yeah.
Because like,
Remember
what
when,
American audience is going to know these movies usually?
remember when Hugh Grant was fresh-faced and foppishly handsome? Now he's really good at it now. He plays all these sleazy.
What's
underhand
funny is
guys.
he got away with fucking prostitute, and all he had to do is go, "I'm a naughty boy. I'm sorry," and everybody just let it go.
Except
I
Elizabeth
say, you
Hurley.
know, oh.
It was probably
What's
one of the
funny is I
greatest
think it
moments
was
in
during
Jay
the
Leno's
promotion
history.
for this movie. Sorry, Tox. What did you say?
Yeah, my man.
I think it was one of the funniest moments in Jay Leno's history when Hugh Grant sits down. I'm watching this live, just like everybody else is, and he turns to him and goes, "What the hell were you thinking?"
Yeah.
And it just that.
Well,
If he hadn't have done that, Hugh Grant wouldn't have gone off that easy. He
for,
let
for context,
off
you got to
the hook.
remember who he was with at the time. That's the whole reason why
he was
everybody
with
Elizabeth
um,
Hurley.
Elizabeth Hurley.
Hurley.
Yeah, I mean,
And everybody's
I'll-
like, "What the fuck?" Because at that time, she was the hottest fucking
Well, yeah.
woman
If
on
you
the
were
planet.
Elizabeth
Like,
Hurley and you were with him, would you give him oral satisfaction? Probably not. So I can see where he's coming from that.
Look,
to a point. I mean, every man's a dog at the end of the day. I'm not going to lie, but I mean,
Hold on a second. I am not Mrs. Flo.
That's right.
yeah, I'm not kidding.
100% into you.
Is she
Except
actually
for
listening?
Pop.
God,
Yeah, she's listening.
she always listens. I can never say anything that's not going to get you in trouble.
Well, she knows that I would never do that because
But
she's
yeah,
a better
anyway,
shot than I am. I'd be
This
dead.
movie really kind of died out. I mean, I don't even know.
Yeah.
I don't have it on Blu-ray even. I don't
Forgotten
think,
all
so.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, here's another forgotten one thing. Speaking of, did people even remember that they
2016
tried to
Omen.
remake The Omen almost 20 years
I
ago?
remember.
Yeah. Mhm.
Oh, I
Wow.
remember because this was the talk when I was in high school where they were talking about, oh, they're making The Omen. And a lot of kids I remember who were in my graduating class this time, like, oh, they're making a movie called The Omen. I'm like, guys, that's based off a remake.
Everybody's
And-
like, who's going to play Gregory Peck?
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because it's not like he's even playing a character. He's just Gregory Peck, you know, like,
Oh no, he is. That is ultimately
at that point, anyway. But no, it's directed by fucking Richard Donner. I mean, how are you going to
Yeah.
top the
You
original?
don't top that. I actually do like the original one. I really do. Like, even though I'm like obsessed into that genre, I do like that movie. I respect it where it comes from. But yeah, to me, I was not a fan of this remake.
Now, there's a lot of evil-looking kids out there, but like that kid in the original was just
Yeah.
really
Oh
better.
yeah, he's perfect. He's perfect.
I mean, that's just it. I mean, it's just one of those movies. Why would you what are you going to do next? Rosemary's Baby and The Exorcist? I mean, come on.
They did, but
Did they do
remakes.
the Rosemary Baby?
I think they did a remake of that.
Oh no. Holy
This-
shit.
The easier question is what did not get remade?
Yeah, you're probably right, Klobby, in that respect. Let's keep going here since there's a ton of these. And this one I can agree with. Friday the 13th. Yeah. What in the world were you thinking? Not only that, you could have just, at this point, like, they should have just made it a sequel. It shouldn't even have been a remake. It was kind of pointless. They crammed the first movie in the first 10 minutes of the movie. And then the rest of the movie is kind of an amalgamation of 2, 3, and 4. And it's done poorly. And did you guys even know that this is that one of the characters in this movie is actually a character in Transformers? And I say character because it's the same actor, but they're also playing the same character.
Jeez.
So Jason kills the asshole boyfriend
of what's her face in Transformers, the
Like,
douchebag with the car in the beginning of the movie.
He's actually the same character.
He's playing the same
Okay.
fucking character. It's technically in the same. It's in the Bayverse.
Jeez,
What
there's a
the-
beavers.
I guess so.
Remember when they remade the remake?
It can't be in the beavers because at the end everything would have exploded in an enormous
kinda
battle,
did, but-
aerial battle, and battleships.
Yeah,
Are you
that
saying
guy who's
beavers or
beavers.
beavers?
Beavers.
Okay, I heard beavers, and I'm like, okay, so
yeah,
now
the
we're
boyfriend that strands what's her face in the beginning of Transformers. He's the guy that's laying in bed going, "You have amazing tits." In Friday
Oh.
the 13th, and it's the same guy, same character, everything. Yeah,
Wow.
he gets killed,
and he gets killed by Jason. Yep.
which is exactly what he deserves. for being
Where's
misogynist
Optimus
pig.
Prime when you need him?
Jason, I'm gonna take you down.
Well, I mean,
I want to see that
don't
fight.
Transformers dream?
Electric Dreams,
Sheep. Oh,
Mm.
Electric Sheep. Yeah, that'd be funny. Anyway, yeah, I hated this fucking movie. It was.
Did you just
horrible.
rip off a Dick novel with that quote?
We
it
did.
ripped off a what? Oh, sorry. A dick? No,
It's a Dick quote.
it was sort of a title.
And I gotta agree with Mrs. Flew. All a-hole boyfriends deserve to be taken out by Jason. I mean, really, that's the thing. And then
Correct.
this movie has a false start too. I don't know if who here has seen this besides me, and
No.
maybe Nick.
Not I.
None of us. So y'all are just like, okay,
No.
I don't even know what the fuck is talking about. Yeah, exactly.
Is this the
Give us
one
a
with what's his face from Supernatural?
Yes, that's him right
Yeah,
there.
okay. I remember flipping on that because I don't even like this kind of movies anyway. Flipping channels, it landed on it, and he's getting his ass chased all around like a wuss. And went, wait a minute, because at the time I used to watch Supernatural when it was good, and I'm like, you were a Winchester, man. You know the little weenie in your head with a whatever he has is going to chase you around. But
Well,
so
when
just-
this
kidding.
came out, like I told my buddy, I'm like, look, it's not going to be a remake of the first movie because they're never going to make a movie where Jason's not the killer.
right, yes.
And I said, I guarantee you the first poster is going to be nothing but the Jason mask or the hockey mask, whatever you want to call it. And sure as shit, that's what it was. And yeah, like I said, you could almost have made this a sequel, but then the problem is the third act turns into a fucking Texas Chainsaw movie instead of a Friday the 13th movie.
Yeah.
Because Jason has some underground cavern that he keeps his victims in. It's like, dude, Jason don't take no fucking prisoners.
That was weird.
What the hell?
Yeah, I still have a laugh that when they rebooted this and then it failed and they rebooted again and it bombed even worse. It kind of reminds you of when, like, oh hey, look, Steve Jobs died. Let's make a movie on him. It bombed. Oh, let's just try it again. It bombed again. It's like, guys, let it go.
Well, then we have let's see here. The Day the Earth Stood Still. Yeah, this was a pretty ill-conceived remake, I guess. I barely remember it.
Far too
This is
much
when Keanu
messaging.
was on one of his downward streaks.
Too much messaging as well, like inappropriate messaging. The original had it just right. The
I
original
never
was-
saw the original. Now, I did not know, and I'm going to be very fair. I did not know this was a remake, but I wasn't really wild about this movie in general, period, even though I didn't know it was a remake. So I'm actually learning this now it's a remake, but I didn't like this movie in general.
Yeah.
It's garbage.
Garbaggio.
What's funny is I have a Blu-ray of it. The only reason I bought it is because it came with the original.
Doesn't this looks like Johnny Mnemonic?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Mm,
It almost does look like him from that, but
Yeah,
it is
no,
from-
I was warned about this film, so I have never seen it.
it's not very good. The original is fine. There was no need for a remake, and it's a waste of time.
And it's weird because it's a Derrickson movie, right? You're like, what the fuck happened?
But that's another list in itself would be most unnecessary remakes, and this would make it.
To a point, you're right, Klobby, but also that's the other problem is the 1950s is one of the worst times for movies. Like the movies out of the 50s were horrible.
Well,
They had some
yeah.
great ideas, but they were poorly executed. Like they didn't have
Well, yeah.
any money. They were made for next to nothing. Like, I was talking about Gorgo earlier. Well, that was a 61 film, but it might as well have been a 1950s film the way.
Yeah, the original of this though
Treated.
was probably an exception to that. I think it was pretty well made.
That's
well
the thing is
filmed.
there's a good handful of films, and that was what a point I was getting to is there's a good handful of films that made their way out of the 50s that were actually still beloved and not made fun of on endless Mystery Science Theater or, Elvira shows.
Right.
And The Day the Earth Stood Still, the original one, was one of those rare handful that, I'm not so sure I would have messed with that one. There's a million other 50s films you could have redone.
And it did inspire the name of the 1970s progressive rock band, Klaatu.
Of course. That's true.
Sorry.
Oh, fuck. Why is this on here? Fuck you. How is this only getting a 5.4 on the IMDb as well?
What?
You
This is
fucking
one of the-
racist.
And this isn't even a remake.
No, you fucking
No.
racists.
It's not a remake.
No. Wasn't this a Broadway show
It was
before they made a
originally
movie?
Broadway show, and this is whenever I say race swapped bullshit, because this was the original. It's like, if you're gonna do it, fucking do it right, like The Wiz, right?
Yeah,
Like
this was the original Broadway cast.
wholeheartedly, except for who, the lead, Diana Ross, and that was because that's what I remember asking Paul at one time, because this is a movie that hardly ever comes up anymore, and whenever anybody does any race swap this or black version of that, it's like, did everybody forget about The Wiz and how good that did it? And it's like, if you're gonna do it, go all out and fucking do it.
Is Diana Ross the one on the left?
I'm
just kidding.
Funny. No, but at the time I asked Paul, I'm like, was there any controversy with this? And he goes, no, the only controversy there was that Diana Ross was too old for the role.
Yes.
Because everybody was because I guess she was one of the only ones besides Michael that wasn't carried over from the original stage play. And she was twice the age of the actress who played her in the original stage play or something like that. Oh, and Richard Pryor too, of course. But the three big stars, of course, were, as far as I understand, added to the movie, and then the rest of them came over from the stage play, if I remember
So you're
right.
saying that's not Judy Garland in blackface?
It is not this time.
Just clarifying.
But see, no, I love The Wiz, and the music is amazing. Didn't Quincy Jones produce it too?
I believe.
Yep. It was huge.
Why is this on this list? So I see Paul just popped in the chat. Paulie, that is, not Paul. Paulie, this is the worst remakes of all time.
Yeah, this is freaking stupid.
Yeah,
This
this
invalidates
is even
anything
on there.
else that's on this list.
Yeah.
I mean, it really does. This shows they're not serious. Was this written by a bot?
The Wiz is one of my all-time favorite remakes.
Great movie.
I mean, I don't even know how many times I've watched this. I mean, it's ridiculous numbers of times.
Down.
It's one of those things that I wish I would have been able to been old enough to see on Broadway when it came out with the original cast.
I want to ease on down the road. I want to.
Now, I will say that every time I see The Cowardly Lion, I think of Culture Casino.
Wow.
I mean,
There ain't nothing that you
come on, Culture, give me a roar.
He's on down the road.
Put them up. I can
Put
live
'em
with
If
it.
I didn't have a weave.
That's right.
What's even better is Richard Pryor as the wizard. I mean, come on.
Yes.
I know.
This movie was top to bottom was great.
It was so great.
This is
And
what I mean. If you're gonna make gay something or black something, do it like this. I don't give a shit.
make something great.
Make
Make
it a good
culturally
film.
relevant. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, one of
make
my favorite films of all time is Undercover Brother.
Hey,
All right.
Oh,
It's just funny as heck.
Okay, here's a great remake. In fact, one of the best remakes ever. La Caja Falls. Everybody here knows it as The Birdcage, right?
Mhm.
Because Nathan Lane and Robin Williams deliver, right? And Hank Azaria is the most I don't even know. He can play anything. The guy can play anything, and he nails the accent. It's fantastic. That film, and again, it's a remake, right? So I don't know.
They don't really give a good reason in this thing here, other than it's just a remake. It's like, oh, you have no idea how culturally significant that film was.
And it wasn't it wasn't a shot.
It wasn't a remake.
I don't count it as a remake necessarily.
Not really.
It's a reimagining, and that's where I actually, people, they throw that word around. That's where I'd actually use that as like The Wiz. Anyway, The Hustle, which is a remake of a remake, if I remember right.
Yeah, it's a dump
it's a remake of Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, which was in turn a remake of Bedtime Story.
Yeah.
But Dirty Rotten Scoundrels was a beloved remake.
It was
It had
fantastic.
Michael
Great.
Caine
good.
and Steve Martin.
Yeah,
in it. Yeah.
love it. Love it.
Yeah. But they were a tour de force.
Oh, and the chick that she was around Hollywood for like 2 minutes and made like 4 great films. What the fuck was her name?
Anne Hathaway or the chubby chick?
No, the chick that's in it with him. Is it Anne Hathaway?
Oh, which are you talking about, the original or this one?
No, the one before this.
Oh, I don't remember.
Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. The chick in that was fucking fantastic.
Wasn't that what's her face that did the Supernatural Ghost Whisperer show? Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Was that her in the original? Are you thinking of Heartbreakers, which was kind of also a remake?
Yeah.
of that?
That's right. Yeah. Okay. That
was the other one. Was Heartbreakers was more of a rip-off remake, and I think that was a remake of another film too. Yeah, it's kind of but no, I think you're mixing that up with that one. Yeah, I could be wrong, but
It was Glenn Headley.
Headley or
Okay.
something.
Yeah.
Glenn Headley.
Yeah.
Glenn Headley. Yeah.
Glenn Headley. And God, she was so good at it. And she did like 4 films. She was really great in it, and then she just disappeared. I don't know. But that was just brilliant. This is a piece of trash.
Yeah.
Well, and this thing bombed from my memory.
Yeah, it did. This thing tanked hard. I think I watched like the first half of it and said, "Fuck you."
Unfortunately, Glenn Headley has passed away a few years ago, so that's
what they said in the chat. But now I see why Andy got confused, because basically Heartbreakers is like a reverse on is a reverse on Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, and then that's basically what they did with The Hustle. So in a weird way, The Hustle is almost more like a remake of Heartbreakers. Because Heartbreakers was the one you're thinking of, I think, with Jennifer Love Hewitt and Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah.
And I believe Gene Hackman and Jason Lee were the males in that one, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, this was a piss poor decision. So I see here from the rating, we're going down, kids. So yeah, it gets worse.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. The Eye.
I
never heard of this one.
I saw this movie. I didn't know.
coming.
I'm gonna be fair again. I did not know this is a remake, but it sucked. This movie sucks.
Didn't see that being on the
Looks
list.
like it was originally.
Oh my god! Hold on a second. There you are. Man, that was bad.
Bad stuff, boy. Nicely done there.
A good old
Evidently, it
dad
was a
joke with a
Cantonese
panel
horror
of
film.
dads.
Exactly.
Is that Ryan Reynolds?
It looks.
looks
no, I
like
don't
it to
think
me.
that is.
And who's that?
Jessica Alba could be.
Okay. Weren't they together at that time?
Maybe that's what I was
Yes,
thinking now.
yes.
Yeah.
See, it's convenient when you're on a set together in your band.
Oh, I remember when this one come out. Bangkok Dangerous with.
Oh yeah, with the man of the
the
man, the legend.
The original was same.
It is
title.
dangerous to Bangkok, absolutely.
I watched.
Not again.
I watched this one.
It's a granddad joke now.
I did not enjoy it.
Bangkok.
Yeah, I don't think I finished watching. I think I started watching it.
Did not see.
I don't remember anything about it though.
No, nothing.
Red Dawn. Oh yeah, they did remake Red Dawn
And this was
That was so dumb.
fucking trash fire.
with Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why?
Why
Like-
were they invading Australia this time?
No, well then the funny thing was, if I remember right, Brian, they had to change because didn't they have China
Yes.
originally in the film, and then
Yes.
China pitched a
Mhm.
fit,
They
so they
didn't like
changed
it.
it
North
to
Korea.
Korea or something like that. Yeah.
Seen it, yeah. It was like, what was the again? What was the point? What's the point?
Sat on the shelves for years.
Mm.
That too. Yeah, you're right. Remember that too. Yeah, it was on the shelf for a couple of years. Yeah. No, that was just one that's like of its time. Like, why don't you remake Goonies while you're fucking at it? Like, Jesus. Shh. 2001
Yeah, don't say-
Maniacs.
Was it a remake or a sequel?
Yeah, that's kind of a funky thing because it says the original 2000 Maniacs came out in 64.
Sounds like a sequel then.
They call this a remake though.
Did
I vaguely
not-
remember when it came out. I didn't even realize it was a
haven't heard of
remake.
this one.
Mm-mm.
It's got Robert Englund in it. That's the only reason I remember it.
Robert Englund. Oh yeah, Robert Englund.
Freddy Krueger. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, Father's Day. This is when they were trying to cash in on another French. So this is going to be full of French comedies remade. That's
Right.
going to be.
Yeah.
It was just ill-conceived, badly timed.
One of the
Very
I guess one of
forced.
the advantages of being the biggest remake hater alive, me, I haven't seen almost any of these. So doing well.
Oh, this was one of those just very ill-conceived films. Just yeah.
And we're
I
just
mean,
at 39.
it works
Jeez.
on paper, but when it was an execution,
Right.
it was just yeah.
Hard to believe it's Ivan Reitman. too.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It has everything it needs going for it. Basically, it's like, okay, you've got Ivan Reitman directing this famous French comedy about these two guys who find out they may have a kid. They don't know which one's the dad, though. And it's like, yeah, it's the classic kind of comedy of errors kind of story, but it didn't land. It just didn't land. It was horrible. But anyway. What Men Want. Oh, yeah. Did you guys remember that they remade What Women Want as What Men Want a couple of years back? I totally spaced that out.
No.
Is this really a remake or is it more of a sequel? Because I always thought they were kind of setting it up as more of a sequel, but I guess it was
more of a parody, really. But
yeah, I guess.
It's the dumbest thing in the world. It's
Well-
the most easily answered question in the world.
I was going to say, yeah, it'd be like a 5-minute movie. Wouldn't it be? I just want a beer and I want to see something naked and I want some quiet while I'm watching the game.
Movie, question answered.
doesn't matter about the order, just those things. Don't have to be in order.
Yeah. We're easy to please. We're easy to please. Quiet is another thing that's at the top of most men's list. And, oh God! Yes.
One of the first ginger sides.
Well, now if you're gonna do this, this is where they should have just done like The Wiz, basically, which they kind of did, but they half-assed it. If you think about it, I never watched it, but I can just imagine. Because I doubt they made any new real songs for it outside of a couple lazy ass songs, and it was really the same fucking story. I'm sure I haven't seen it, but I can
haven't
almost
either.
imagine.
I just remember seeing it and thinking, "Oh, hey, another random, unnecessary."
People
race
forget that
swap
Annie is
person.
basically a comic book movie too, in a way.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
true. No, you're right.
Oh, we got Scribe in the chat. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah,
I
it
should
did
just
need
add
be
him to the
remade,
group.
but it's once again just more things of this is how it was meant to be portrayed. You know, those types of Looney Goons.
Looney Goons.
Hmm.
I like that.
And that was on purpose, not tunes. That
You
was
know, I like
absolutely on
that.
purpose.
That's why I
Thank
said I
you.
like that. Yeah, I'm gonna add Scribe to the group here quick.
Yeah. Welcome to the group.
'Cause I like
Welcome
his
to the
takes.
party, pal.
Welcome to the party, pal. Come on to the coast. We'll get together, have a few laughs.
Nice.
How can the same thing happen to the same guy twice? I am the voice of my own God. I definitely have a headache. She didn't believe me, but I said I definitely got a headache.
Fucking headache.
That crazy, you know, like Bellevue. Our boy over here says he hates. What we gonna do about that?
Nature boy.
Yeah, nature boy over here. That's right. Thank you. Yeah, that's how bad Annie is. We start talking about Die Hard.
Yeah. This list ain't gonna get much better, buddy. I'll tell you that right now.
Hey, Scribe.
Hey guys. Doing all right. Hello,
Uh,
hello.
Good timing.
Hey.
You missed almost half the, well, not quite half the list, about a third of it.
What's our list today? I didn't catch the
50
first.
worst remakes of all time, and we've called a little bit of
Oh.
bullshit because they've added stuff in here like The Wiz, which we were like, why? And it's like, is that really a remake? I called that more of a reimagining, and then
Yeah.
and then they got a lot of the French films and Cantonese films and all that kind of stuff. It's like, why are these on here? I don't know if I'd necessarily consider those as like the standard remake.
Yeah, The Wiz would not be a remake. That's sort of like saying every iteration of Hamlet is a remake. It's like, well, yeah, it's the play, but then if you add, so like Romeo and Juliet, where they set it in modern times, or Richard III, those wouldn't be remakes.
Good
So, yeah,
good
anyway.
point. Like, yeah, like Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet. Would you consider that a
Interpretation.
remake of the 70s or 60s version or whatever with what's her face?
Interpretations. But
Yeah, more reinterpretation or reimagining, exactly. Yeah. But anyway, fuck this Annie remake. It was unnecessary. I think the 80s one nailed it. Like, I mean, I know it's not one of those movies that everybody talks about or whatever, but I bring up all the time is like, yeah, people forget it's a comic book movie. Right on the heels of Popeye, no less.
Or strip, yeah, but yeah.
Comic strip movie like Dick Tracy.
Comic strip, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, doesn't count.
This is a big Christmas movie that year in '82 too. Was it 81 or 82 this came out? I can't remember.
Ooh, I want to say 1.
Yeah, you might be right. It might be 81.
All I know
But
is
I knew it
that
was 82.
at my age, I was 12 years old when the original film came out, and it was challenging for me to try to remain cool and still enjoy the film.
Mm.
It's better than it has the fucking
I mean,
right
it's
to
got
be.
Albert Finney and Tim Curry in it, so it's
The
gotta
whole
be good.
cast, right?
The whole
You've got
cast.
fucking Carol Burnett. The little
Yeah,
girl they
Carol
cast to
Burnett.
play Annie was spot on.
Yeah, she was great.
I mean, it just the music is great. I mean, I don't give a shit. I'll say it. It's a great film. It works. It's a little long in the tooth. I mean, sure, they could cut out a good 10, 15 minutes. But that was kind of one of those event Christmas movies of that time. It just felt like when that movie comes on or I throw it on, it has that nostalgic value to it where it has that, oh, we're going to watch something special tonight kind of thing. Because that was a thing when it would come on TV. It was a big deal and shit like that.
I was young enough to confuse Albert Finney's portrayal with Lex Luthor. I thought, what? I thought,
Well,
wait, is
yeah.
Superman showing up now? Yeah.
He would have made a good Lex Luthor.
He would have. Yeah, he really would have.
Yeah.
What's next?
Yeah, let's keep going. Sorry. Point Break. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
They remade that? What?
Oh, you didn't remember that?
No.
Oh, yeah, they
Good
did.
God, why?
Catherine Bigelow directed it, no less.
Oh.
Oh, the original, that is. Sorry, yeah.
This remake was awful.
Yeah, who was
Yeah.
in this one? I'm trying to remember. It was
Well, we know who it wasn't.
Was that
it
Jake
wasn't
Gyllenhaal?
Patrick Swayze and Keanu
No.
Reeves. So what was
no,
the
I don't
point?
even remember who the fuck was in it.
Patrick Swayze is, hard
Well,
to beat.
not only that, didn't they not even like how was how long had Patrick Swayze died at this point?
I think he was gone.
I know he was,
Yeah.
but for how long?
Very near that time though.
Oh, 2009. Okay. Yeah, because
Yeah.
it was like, yeah, it wasn't long after that. We got this, that other fucking, that other one we just had, Red Dawn.
It would be,
Oh,
you know what
God.
would be worse is if they tried to remake Roadhouse.
Oh,
They
you
are.
didn't know they are?
Oh, I know.
Oh, you didn't
Plus,
see that?
they had that sequel as well around the same time.
That's why we need this writers and actors strike to go on as long as possible, so they forget about making that.
What's
Roadhouse.
sad was he lived long enough to be in a cameo in that god awful Dirty Dancing sequel that everybody
that's
forgot.
right.
Let me tell you, that was terrible. And
I didn't even watch it, but I just know he was
Havana
in it.
Nights or some shit.
Yeah, Havana Nights. Yeah.
Mhm.
Ah,
Yep,
Well,
did not
tell me-
see this. I knew this was a red flag. Even let's just pretend that this is maybe even good or watchable. The thing is, I don't see it because even if you still see them, you're giving them the permission to do more of this.
Hmm.
Yeah. No, I don't think this did very well at all.
No.
Stepford Wives remake, another
Oh.
one that was ill-conceived. Frank Oz directed it. Now, I remember this movie was more famous for the behind-the-scenes bullshit that went down. And didn't it get reshot a crap ton? Yeah.
Yeah, the original was great. I mean, it's still creepy as hell if you watch it.
The
Even on,
Perfect Wife.
Hmm.
Isn't Japan doing this in real time?
Kind of.
Yes.
yeah, but they need to. Their
Watch.
birth rate is dog shit.
Oh, the robots aren't going to help that.
Yeah, their robots aren't going to help that either. Yeah.
Boy,
No,
Nicole
this
Kidman
was-
likes doing she likes doing remakes of body snatch movies because he was in a movie called Invasion with Daniel
Which was
Craig
Invasion
way
of the
back
Body
then.
Snatchers.
Oh,
You're
Yeah, it was
right.
Invasion of the Body Snatch- in a terrible reimagining. I mean, the 1956 version was great. The 79 version with Donald Sutherland, although aesthetically it still looks really. It looks dated, but it's still great, and the ending's amazing. And then you had Body Snatchers in '93, which was
Yep.
just and then they did Invasion, I think in 2002 or 1 or something, and they haven't. I'm surprised they haven't remade that one again yet, given how many years have
Just in
passed.
time.
I know.
Then you're missing, I don't know how many inspired remakes in the meantime there too.
Yeah, no
Those are
kidding.
the actual direct remakes you're talking about. Yeah.
I know.
And then this one, yeah, this is another one that not only has it had a bunch of rip-off type films in the meantime, yeah, the timing of this just felt
This was one of those movies when you watch it, you can just feel the problems behind the scenes in the movie. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just it feels like a bad movie.
It feels awkward. It's awkward.
Yes, awkward. Thank you. It has a very
Feels
awkward,
awkward.
feeling to it, and
Right.
not like it's supposed to, right?
Nobody
Like,
quite knows what they're doing or why.
yeah, I don't know. But we got a few super chats. Let's break for some of those. We got Nick S who says, "Fine, Tom. Here's a super chat." Well, thank you, Nick S. We've got Dearest who says, "In honor of Mexican Iron Man, I had a burrito from Qdoba.
Qdoba.
Is that how you say it? Qdoba?
Yeah, Qdoba.
After work today. Never heard of that.
You're overthinking it, Tom.
I don't care.
It's Qdoba.
Drive-by commentator says, "The cultural trajectory, 2010s, hipsterdom, 2020s, trans social contagion, 2030s, Teletubbies? Maybe.
That could happen.
Oh, sure. Now he shows up after we're deep into this one. Hey, Paul.
I had guests.
That's all right. But we've been waiting to do this other list for you for like 3 weeks now. And we're in the middle of this one now, so too late.
Guest. Be our guest.
And then we also have Iranian Putin, who's been a member for 4 months. Thank you so much.
I can leave.
No, you can stick around. Travis Manley says there's never been a remake of Barbarella.
Well,
or should
they're
there
planning
be?
that too. They're planning that.
You're
too.
right.
Yeah,
I think they've
that's
tried that
coming
a few
too.
times yet.
It's
Isn't Sydney Sweeney doing that?
It was still in Mulvaney.
Maybe.
The Iranian Putin also sends in $2 and says, "Do you think The Nun 2 will be good?" I don't know. Maybe. Horror movies are a little different.
I'm going to see that. You know what they haven't made? They need to remake Caligula. I think that's something.
Kareen points out that they are doing another True Dirty Dancing 2. Look it up. I know. Yeah, I remember when we brought that up. They announced it like last year. I think it was.
Yeah.
Gonzalo Bergali says they got the name wrong. The remake is Fast and the Furious. Oh, that's true.
Actually, what we need is Caligula 2. Malcolm McDowell's still alive.
That's right.
True. That's
Yeah,
true.
really sequel.
He's doing Canadian sitcoms.
And dare I say that he those men who gets sexier with age.
Oh yeah.
McDowell? Yeah. But yeah, so the list we're doing today, Paul, is the 50 worst remakes of all time. And they use the IMDb ratings to use it. But we called bullshit already because they've had a bunch of like French and Korean and Cantonese films that were remade as American films. And we're like, should those really count? And they also had shit down here like The Wiz. We're like, that shouldn't be on here. Like, that's not a remake. That's more of a reimagining
Lost
as a
you.
play.
Am I lost?
Oh, did he dip
No.
out?
No, we hear you.
No, they.
Were you must. Did I dip out
I
on
might
you?
have dipped out. I'm having internet problems.
Okay, well, what I said was, yeah, we're doing the 50 worst remakes of all time list.
What is going on here?
I don't know.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Am I dipping in and out?
Yes, you must be, Paul. Somebody message him in the background. Yeah. It must be your internet.
Hello?
Canadian internet.
He's being monitored real time.
You'd think
by
he would have
Canadian
figured it out by now, but that's okay.
It's because of his tweeting about the Liberal Party. I don't think they like it. So they're monitoring him full time. They've got a whole room full of people.
Now
just
he
watching-
froze. He's like totally froze now.
Oh.
He pissed off little Castro.
No,
Oh, now you unfroze.
We see you, Paul. We see you.
Oh,
No.
no, he went.
Oh well.
We'll
I
see.
believe they've been planning to do a remake of the Toronto Maple Leafs winning the Stanley Cup, but it's never gone into production. It's never gone into production ever. And it probably never will now.
Oof.
It's a hockey joke. Sorry, Paul.
Okay, and Tox has to.
Yeah, no, right. You beat
Tox
me
has
to
to take off on us here. So thank you for being here, Tox. You're truly the inspiration for this version of the show. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, The Stepford Wives was a shitty film. Damn it.
It gave it all away, didn't it? It gave the whole thing away.
Yeah, whatever. And then I love the remake that they did with was it At World's End by who's the guy that plays Scotty and is in Shaun of the Dead?
Peg.
Oh yeah,
I'm in Peg. Yeah,
Oh,
that was the best remake of this. Was At World's End. So
I guess I never saw it as a remake of this, but all right.
I didn't know.
that's what happens at the end. They're
I guess
all
so.
perfect.
It's a happy ending.
It
Yes,
is.
you're right.
And it
It's
is.
a happy ending.
Just like at most massage
All
parlors.
right. Well, thanks for being here, Tox, and
Thanks,
hopefully
so
we'll
much.
see you
We'll talk to you guys
see
later.
again soon.
All
All
right,
right.
bud.
Bye.
Love you, buddy.
Love you too.
All right, we've got Robin Hood.
Oh yeah.
Which remake is this
Okay,
of Robin Hood?
again, now this is where I draw a line. Does Robin Hood even fucking count? Unless
No,
what are you
no,
remaking
it
here?
doesn't.
It's a fucking mythology. It's or legend or whatever.
Legend.
Like
Yes, exactly.
thank
An
you,
adaptation. It's a
Like
it's
Andy's
an
Hamlet
interpretation.
comparison.
Yeah.
Doesn't count.
Yeah, you can't remake something that was a story from hundreds
unless
of
you
years.
remake Kevin Costner's bad English accent. I don't know.
And it's a fair thing that it's that way too, because you're never going to touch Errol Flynn's greatness.
Yeah, you won't.
Yeah, they better put up like any iteration of King Arthur is just a new
Right.
retelling of an old story. It's not a remake. It's like
right.
the movie itself has to be some kind of original piece, I guess, in a way. I suppose
That's the way I see it. If it's based on a book or a legend, that's more of a readaptation.
Yeah,
than
I mean,
anything.
how do you pick one as well? There's been how many cinematic versions?
Errol
Robin
Flynn,
Hood?
A dozen,
yeah,
a dozen or more.
Dozens,
you know.
yeah.
But I mean, Clobby made the best point. Errol Flynn was one of the classic actors that played the part of Robin Hood.
Let's not forget Disney's.
He did it so well. I mean, at the time, consider this: he was a very physical actor. He did his own stunts and stuff. He did his own sword fighting. You remember when people did that? Remember when people had many skills and that's what made them a star?
Right. He knew how to handle his sword, that's for sure.
The only time I ever consider a readaptation a remake instead of a readaptation
Okay.
is if there's something in the movie that in an older version of a movie that they're taking strictly from that version that was not in the original literature.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like my best example is when they remade Carrie, and I say that remade now because at first it was just a readaptation. They were going straight from the book. And then the studio's like, well, where's this scene and this scene and that scene? And the director's like, that was just shit that was in De Palma's movie. That's not in the book.
right.
And they're like, well, we want those scenes.
Yeah.
So they made him go back and redo like the ending and some other stuff that was in the only in the De Palma version. That was where it went from being a readaptation into a remake, if you ask me. That's the best example I can give you.
Right, like
Ruby Slippers is not in the original Wizard of Oz books, for instance, you know, kind of thing.
Sort of like Psycho. Right. Psycho was based on a book by Robert Bloch,
True.
but then when they did the remake, it was a shot for shot remake from the film. So that, even though it's all sourced from an original book, the second try at it was meant to be a takeoff from the film. So that's an actual remake. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. That's what
Let's
I'm.
not forget
That's my
I wonder
interpretation.
if Psycho's going to be on this list. Is it or has it already been?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm sure it will be. Flubber.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if this deserves to necessarily. I mean,
It was different enough from the original that.
well, not only that, it was distant enough from the
It's
original.
just-
Yeah.
They
I
should have
mean-
given this a new name because it's actually not a bad movie. At least I don't find it to be bad, but this should have been given a different name.
Well, the original movie was The Absent-Minded Professor.
Yes.
Yes.
And then they had, I think it was The Son of Flubber was the sequel, right?
Yes.
I forgot there was a sequel. Geez.
And that was the original. No, that the original ones. As far as if they remade, they did a remake of the sequel. I don't know, Nick, but like, yeah, no. I mean, this one I didn't hate per se. I thought, like, this is the kind of thing. Like, although it's not a great film, it doesn't seem to really step on the original so much.
It was a fun kids movie. That's all.
It's in the spirit of the original, I guess, is the way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't see a problem with this one. No, I mean, it's so,
Yeah.
so distant. It's the I mean,
and
kids
it
going to
really
see
does
this,
update it for that age
Yeah.
without stepping all over the. And I hate remakes, but I'm saying
I wasn't a
It doesn't-
fan of the dancing flubber, but like,
yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't really trash what went before. In that sense, like a lot of remakes, in my opinion, do almost on a fundamental level.
it also still kind of had that Disney spark to it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Well,
people
Robin,
also brought up.
was this before or after Aladdin? Because Robin Williams and Disney were very closely.
Oh, this is
associated.
Ooh,
Yeah.
after.
Okay.
After.
Yeah, like that Shaggy DA remake they did.
Oh,
That one
God.
did very well.
Yeah.
This was at the same time where they'd had him voice over a robot for a special attraction at Disneyland as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Robin Williams was prolific in voice acting.
Well, they did
for
that
Disney.
robot in Robots.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, no, but he was rather prolific. He was very busy working for them.
Oh yeah, this is during his one of his height periods.
Yeah,
or whatever
I
you call it.
recall taking my kids to see it, and I seem to recall they enjoyed it quite a bit. So it was
Yeah, I was
well
gonna
worth
say I think
taking,
it did well
yeah.
at the box office from
Yeah.
memory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's well worth. It was well worth remaking, I think.
House of Wax
Oh yeah.
with Paris
Okay.
Hilton.
Is that set
This
in a-
movie
a-
sucks,
Yes,
but
it does.
Paris Hilton dies, and that I
That's the
can't
only
believe that.
highlight.
All right, this is one of my rare concedings because I don't like the original and I don't like the remake. But boy, if I could go back in time and go to the theater to see this movie just to see Paris Hilton's character get killed off, I would. That
Was this
scene
Ghost?
was worth the price of admission.
Was this Ghost House? Was this another like old
That's a
what am I
different. This
thinking
is
of?
different.
Is it okay?
it's
The
a-
original,
it's
I
an old film.
believe,
It's
was
an old
a
50
Vincent
thing.
Price film, right?
Yeah.
Vincent Price.
Yeah, Vincent Price.
Yep,
Was it
Vincent
William
Price right here.
Castle?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Was it
think
William
so.
Castle thing? Was it Dark? Maybe
Yeah, I
I'm
think
thinking
it
of
was
Dark Castle.
The original.
It wasn't a castle, I don't think.
Wasn't okay.
No, but it's similar. It's very similar in style.
It wasn't William
53.
Castle. Wasn't William Castle either.
Okay, I'm getting mixed up. My bad.
But I know what you
No,
mean.
no, it's
No, I know what you're referring to.
so long ago. I mean,
Yes, sir.
now wait a minute. Sorry, I might be wrong here because I think even the one I'm thinking of is the Vincent Price, and I think that was a remake. Yes, you're probably right that there was a William Castle before, maybe
William
back in the
Castle.
30s.
William Castle was a famed filmmaker of
Yeah, sorry,
makes
it
funky horror movies.
could well have been a castle. Yeah, I'm thinking
There
of
you
the
go.
50s one.
There you go.
The 50s one. Maybe those Hammer films. Hold on a second. I'll look it up. I have.
We'll look it up now. Yeah.
Let's see. Remake. Okay, House of Wax, 1953. A remake by Warner Brothers of their 1933
Oh,
film Mystery of the Wax Museum.
Michael Curtiz.
Started-
Yeah,
Yeah. It was Warner Brothers. All right, my bad.
Faye Ray was in the original.
Yeah, I have
Charles,
the
Charles
Faye Ray.
Bronson. Charles Bronson was in the 1953 version.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Vincent Price and Charles
I
Bronson.
didn't
They were-
remember that because I think I got it on
Yeah.
Blu-ray too.
You'd be amazed at some of the things Charles Bronson was in back then.
Yeah, yeah.
He was credited as Charles Buczynski, his real name.
Igor.
He was Igor. He was deaf and mute. Well, he didn't have a lot of lines then, did he? Oh, that's funny. I'd
let's see.
forgotten that was a 30s film originally. I mean, I don't think I've
Yeah.
ever seen it, the 30s one.
And soon the dark. I have no idea.
No idea.
Never heard of it.
19.
Soon the
A
disappointment.
British film of the same name, 70. Okay,
No, don't recall that
Nope.
either.
relatively obscure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
1970s.
Jungle to Jungle. Okay, here's another French or whatever movie you made.
Which film?
Yes.
And of course, in the original French, it was Jungle, Jungle.
Now I remember this one. I think I'm surprised it got such a low rating on IMDb. I thought a lot of people liked this one. I thought it did well.
I remember seeing this when I worked at the video store back in the old days, and for some reason I didn't know about it coming out in the theaters. When I saw the poster and the cover art, I thought it's a sequel to what? Because when I see 2 in the middle of something, I assume it's like the next in a series.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's too cute, that, isn't it? Putting the 2 in there. It's very cute.
Yeah.
Never seen it.
No.
So what other obscure French comedies did they turn into American remakes? Like The Littlest Vampire or something? Wasn't that one? Or maybe I'm misremembering.
Les Miserables.
There you go. Yeah, French comedy turned into an American.
Didn't even change the title.
Less Miserables.
Less Miserables. Not as Miserables.
Yes.
Slightly happier, they should have called it.
Yes.
The miserable people. No, yeah, you're right with the 2 part. I mean, I think they were trying to be clever because it's like 2 jungles. We've got the city jungle and the original jungle. Yeah.
The urban jungle and the jungle.
Yeah, no, it just didn't work that way, I guess.
Oh,
Get Carter. I remember this one.
Right, okay.
That was so bad.
Full
'Cause I'm a-
disclosure, I have never seen the original. I have it.
Oh, the original is awesome. I'm a
And I actually
huge
like
lover
this
of that
movie, so I can't. But I only. That's going off the idea that I've never seen the original.
The original's awesome. I mean, it's not slick. It's brutal and very gritty.
Yeah.
But, there's not a lot of slick action, but Michael Caine just is he's so hard in it. He's a hard man, a cold-blooded guy, and it's awesome. It's truly a great movie, brilliant movie.
Yeah, Sylvester Stallone's. I mean, at this point, he's so. I find it difficult to take him seriously in a tough guy role because he's played that up so many times in other movies that I have a hard time not waiting for some kind of comedy to come out of him playing to type, and that's why. But that's part of the reason why this movie didn't work for me. Plus the writing and it just wasn't a very well made movie. I don't think.
Yeah, and it turns it into a more slick action thriller, whereas the original was not really an action movie. Although Michael Caine does know how to handle a shotgun in it, but it's more of a crime drama than an action movie. The original.
Yeah,
That's
big
fair. I
man,
do
but
need to
you're
sit down and watch the original.
big man, but you're out of shape. Yeah, I didn't see the point in remaking it, but hey.
Then we got Flatliners, the one that nobody remembered they did with Elliot Page.
Right.
Yeah, that was bad. It was so useless.
Who's
And there was
she?
supposed to be, who's she? It was supposed to be a sequel. It was supposed to be a stealth sequel because Kiefer Sutherland's character was supposed to show up from the original, and I'm trying to remember if he did or if it was just him playing.
He's
a
in it,
different
but I can't
part.
remember if he's playing a different part or not because I never
Yeah.
watched this piece of shit.
Yeah, at the time, I was under the impression that it was going to be a loose remake / reboot because somewhere some character Kiefer Sutherland was supposed to reappear as his original character, but I guess it wasn't, so it didn't make any sense. And the mechanics of the story, it's one of those things where it's like the original is so perfect as it is. What is the point of this?
It's one of those movies that's definitely of its time, right? Like it's.
Yes.
It's one of those ridiculous high concept, whatever you want to call it, kind of films. It barely works as a movie, but because of the solid cast you have there implementing this story, it works.
And
Otherwise,
Joel
it
Schu-
basically
Joel
would be
Schumacher.
like and also you got a great director too, because otherwise it would just basically be like a sci-fi original series kind of thing.
Yeah, it was definitely up Schumacher's alley. It was great. I mean, yeah, everything is held together by. You look at that cast now, and holy cats, man! You got Oliver Platt, Kiefer Sutherland, Julia Roberts. Was it Billy Baldwin? I think it was Billy Baldwin.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah,
One
the
of
whole
them.
cast is one of the Baldwins, not the one that shot anybody that I know of.
All the Baldwins are dead.
But
Sorry, I love
yeah,
that
but
line
no,
from South Park.
It must have been an Arquette in it then, if there was a Baldwin in it.
It's like they bombed Canada.
want
What?
to
All
talk
the
good
Baldwins
Adam
are
Baldwin.
dead. Sorry.
Yeah, pointless movie.
Oh man.
belongs on the list. The short version is that one belongs on this
It
list.
does. These do belong. Most of these do belong
Well,
from the sense of quality on the list.
and there's a lot more probably. That's what's pissing me off about some of these other ones being on here. It's like you're wasting space with all this other crap. Like these French remakes should not be on here.
Right.
Have you already done a list of best remakes?
I
don't think we did.
don't think we have, but we should.
I bet there is out there because the first one I think of is like True Grit. But we'll get to
Yeah,
that
well, you got
someday.
Scarface, you got The Fly, you
Yeah,
got Thing.
yeah, Scarface. Yeah.
But then the thing is, does that fall into a readaptation or is that a remake?
Fly's a remake. The Fly's a remake.
I think we have
Fly's
done
a
one
remake.
that's actually, now that I think about it, I think we may have done one like that already. But I'd have
I
to
seem
look.
to recall we did do something.
I
like
think
that.
you're right, Brian. I was going to say, now that I think about it, we did because we bitched about a few of them not being on there.
We did.
Well, here's
Old
one
Boy
that
is good.
here's another one: comic book films. Much like when you're talking about, because like, how many people considered Man of Steel a remake of Superman the movie?
Yeah, is this a
No,
remake
I
or a
don't.
reboot of a franchise?
I don't
I
think
look
so.
at it as more of a reboot.
Man of Murder was a reimagining.
Wasn't even. It was reimagining. It
That's
was
what I'm
really
saying. To
horrible.
me, I count comic book movies in the same
No.
vein as a readaptation. Yeah,
Just
they're
like
not
what
a
you were
remake.
talking about before. They're reinterpretations of stuff. They're not necessarily like, for example, if you're even Bond, those are in a sense the Bond films are reinterpretations. Although some of them have titles of books loosely based, but unless you're adapting an actual book, if you're taking a character and doing certain things with it differently, you can call those reinterpretations, I'd say.
Yeah. I don't think this should be on here as bad as it is.
I haven't even seen this one, but
oh, here we go.
Oh, yeah.
This should be higher than this.
I'm gonna run out, Tom, but thanks for having me, brother.
Oh, no, thank you for being here, Clobby.
Thanks, guys. Good to see you.
Cheers, buddy.
See you, Clobby.
Love you, man.
Take care, my friends. Later, buddies.
Sorry, Tom, did you say these are heading like number one is the worst in their opinion?
We're going
We're
down,
heading-
yeah.
We're heading towards the worst in their opinion.
Yep.
Okay. Right.
There's
Well, this
so
is
many
actually
stories.
by
About,
IMDb. Yeah, sorry.
oh, there's so many stories behind the scenes about this. I just learned some more. There was a Red Letter Media video that came out not too long ago, just a couple days ago, where Jay Bauman was actually on the set as a body double for lighting purposes on this movie. And apparently what's his name who plays Freddy Krueger? I suddenly forget his name all of a sudden.
Jackie Earl Haley.
He had never seen the movies up until the point where they started filming. He watched the first movie like the night before they started shooting, and he said it was the worst thing he'd ever seen. Rooney Mara, who starred on the movie, actually considered quitting acting because of her experience on the set of this movie. And there was a whole bunch.
Did you ever start acting?
Anyway, yeah, no, but both as a remake, but also like, apparently as a production behind the scenes. Yeah, this is just an absolute disaster.
Yeah, there's a whole subsection of the film that was cut out, like a whole nother bit. I know they reshot a bunch of it. I'm kind of sad. I didn't see that video, but I'm kind of sad to hear that about Jackie Earl Haley because he was actually friends with Johnny Depp at the time. And I mean, I could see why he didn't go see the original because I think he tried out for the Glenn part and he didn't get it. That or the other part that the other boyfriend, one of the two. And so that I could see personal reasons why he probably was like pissed off that he just didn't get the role or whatever. But because the story is that I don't know if you guys have heard this story. This is kind of the other side of it, I guess. Jackie Earl Haley drug Johnny Depp down to the audition for this because Johnny needed a ride to band practice and his only ride was Jackie.
Right.
And so while they were there, since Johnny was just hanging around, they're like, well, you're about right for the age for this. Why don't you run in and audition? And he ended up getting in the top 5 for Glenn. And so Wes Craven lays out the 5 headshots of the top 5 possibilities, Johnny Depp being one of them. And his 2 daughters keyed in right on Johnny Depp. And they go, why him? And he goes, and both of them said at the same time, he's dreamy.
Oh.
So we can thank Wes Craven's daughters, Wes Craven's teenage daughters, for why we have Johnny Depp to this day as an actor, because he never wanted to be an actor. He wanted to be a fucking rock star. That's what he wanted to be. He was just hanging around. Yeah.
But by connection, because of Wes Craven's daughters, Amber Heard pooped on a bed.
Very much so, I guess you're right. Yes, before she was even born.
I know, right? Fate was lined up at that moment.
That's
but yeah, now this movie also is just like, oh my gosh, just like you were saying, just kind of a ham sandwich of fuckery in what it was. You had Warner Brothers at the time, which had swallowed up New Line Cinema just a few years before that. This was purely them cashing in on the Nightmare on Elm Street name. It wasn't even that long after last time Robert Englund had played the role in Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, come on. What are you doing? It was just nonsensical. They should have just tried. And why didn't you try to get Wes Craven to come in and try to do a new one? Right? Or something like it was just ridiculous. Well, he may have. I mean, he did for New Nightmare anyway. I mean,
well, we talked about what they should have done with New Nightmare after that before.
Yeah, and I mean, after the popularity of Scream, they probably would have let him do whatever the hell he wanted, especially being a studio at that point instead of New Line Cinema. But I don't know. It was just an ill-conceived idea. What really made me mad about the whole thing is Jackie Earl Haley's a great actor, but then you make him look like shit. Like he looks like a salamander. The story is discombobulated as fuck. And then they actually introduced this interesting idea where Freddy might be innocent. and they
Right.
waste half of the fucking movie on it, only for it to not be true, and it for just basically to flip around and be a straight up remake of the end of the original film. And
There
it
was no
doesn't make
suspense-
sense
yeah.
because and it makes no sense because at that point you've done none of the original setup like you did in the original film because you've wasted all this time on this side story now, so that the end of the movie just feels completely out of left field. And it was just, I don't know, and it was full of bad ripoffs of all the like the lines that Freddy would say in all the films and stuff. So like none of it was original. Even Freddy coming out of the wall bit was like really bad in CGI and compared to
Yeah.
the original version, which they just did so simply in 1984. It was just like, oh my God, how can you downgrade this so badly?
The mystery of his origin or whether or not he was guilty, there was no suspense to that because obviously he was. That just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to the character that you would just suddenly make him a victim. And if you're going to pull something like that to make any suspense to it at all, it would have to be with a completely different character where you didn't already know the backstory and there wasn't already like 20 some odd years worth of films to establish who that character was. It just doesn't work.
Oh, okay. Well, Alpha, I guess I thought he had 2 daughters. Maybe there was somebody else there on the set who's like a producer's daughter or something that was there too or something. I don't know. The stories, and you can find the story out there. It's not like it's not hard to find. I think it's on the making of the original DVDs or whatever. But you were saying Scribe.
Oh, I thought that was basically it. It's just that it was false suspense inserted into the character. Oh God.
Is this another one that does this count as a remake?
No.
Well, it's
No,
different
no,
different
I
enough
didn't
from the
call it a
first
remake.
one. Yeah. It's not that similar. So
The origin is similar. I mean, the origin story to the kid or to Conan is somewhat.
Well, that was what I was
similar.
trying to think. Did they steal any of Milius's story? Because of the shit that he changed. And also Thulsa Doom wasn't originally a Conan villain. He was a Krull villain.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
No,
remember,
this-
did they have Thulsa Doom in this or not?
No, they didn't. They had some other.
Okay, so
characters.
yeah. So in that respect, I don't know. Unless they pulled something specifically from the old movie, I would say it's a readaptation.
Yeah, and the Conan stories are always very episodic anyway. So to say this is just one more entry in the mythos would make more sense than to say it was a remake. Bad entry, but all the same.
Indeed. So yeah, unless anybody has more to say about this.
no. Move
I mean,
on
there's
quickly.
aspects of this I don't hate, and then there's a lot of aspects of this I do hate.
I know Andrew's got a lot to say.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's harder on it than I am actually, which
It
is
had
funny.
potential, but it just didn't seem to fulfill it somehow. I mean, it was unsatisfying. I can't think of.
Well,
a
from my
better way of
memories,
putting
it does a
yeah.
better job of his origin story or his, compare because like that was the thing that's different in Milius's to in my memory, and I have not seen this movie in a couple of years now, at least 5 years, close to. Was that the original one? They changed a lot of Conan's origin story where he came from and made him a slave, and then made him a fighter, and then and all that shit, and then they he gets set free or whatever. The slave stuff was added, as far as I know. That was never a part of his origin story to begin with.
Well, I could be corrected by a more knowledgeable Conan historian, but I'm not sure that they ever. I think Milius gave him an origin story. I'm not sure that an origin story was ever depicted in the actual Conan stories.
You
by
might be right
Howard.
too, and that's kind of the way
So-
Andre, I think, has explained it to me too.
Yeah.
And from my memory, is like basically he just kind of was Conan, and he
Yeah, hither came Conan. He was king in the first story that was basic, and everything else was kind of a flashback. So I guess it's a remake in a sense that the Milius movie gave Conan an origin up to current, and so this one had an origin up to current, but they're two completely different stories after that.
I think the first part of this movie with the younger Conan was pretty good.
Yeah, you got to see him fighting.
That's what I
ahead of
mean.
time and everything,
that
That's what
part
I
was
mean. Is
good.
my understanding of like this was a better representation of young Conan as opposed to the Milius
But
film.
after that, it became, for an R-rated movie, it just didn't seem to fulfill that for me. It just didn't have the impact that you would expect an R-rated
Well-
sword and sorcery epic to have. It seemed fairly bland after the
Yeah.
Well, what it got down is convoluted. I think that
plot was
like
bad,
yeah. There's some. I
it
haven't
had
seen it in a while.
potential, but didn't fulfill it. I don't think.
Not only that, at
Which is
this
a
point,
shame.
Momoa just couldn't act yet.
And well, he can act now.
Not really. He still couldn't. I mean, at least now he can go
Good point,
badass.
Goldfair. Very good point.
I mean, the best he can do is the fruity character he played in the most recent Fast and the Furious bullshit. But look, which actually I actually kind of buy. He's really good at being fruity. But regardless, Conan the Barbarian remake is quite trash, and unfortunately, I gotta go. Which this it bummed me out. There's 25 more of these, and my show starts in 20 minutes. So
I'll see you soon, Culture.
And it's gonna be huge.
All right. This
See
show
you over
does
there
lead
later,
over
mate.
there.
I love you guys. Don't tell anybody.
See you in a bit.
See ya.
Fame. It's not gonna live
right.
forever.
They did do
The
that,
shit is
didn't they?
just not gonna fly.
They did a remake of this.
Yeah.
Right. The original
Yeah,
wasn't that good.
2009. Yeah, the original wasn't even that great.
It's not that great.
It was one of those, I think if I remember right, the TV series was kind of better than the movie, wasn't it?
Yeah. No, I should be, to be honest, it isn't my cup of tea.
Yeah, it wasn't something I really. Okay, even at the time, Roger Ebert said that it sanitized and dumbed down the original's magic for a hypothetical teen market. Yeah, because the original one was an R-rated film, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I think it was.
Can't remember. I've seen it once. Didn't
I just
really
know
want
the
to, but-
music. The music is what lived on, not the story of the movie. Like,
it's funny how Hollywood's always looking for that hypothetical market that doesn't seem to quite exist.
right?
Yeah. No, it's not just in the current era.
Sorority Row. The 1980 cult hit the house on Sorority Row. Yeah, okay. I didn't know this was remade.
Yeah.
Nick, did you know they remade this? I didn't. He must have stepped away.
Did not watch this movie at all. I didn't know this was a remake, and honestly, to me, it didn't look interesting to begin with.
I'm getting like Morgan Fairchild vibes. I might be wrong about that, but I think there was something way back when that she did, like the sorority thing or something.
I don't know if she was in the original, and I'm trying to remember which one was the
can't
house
even
on Sorority
remember-
Row.
I
There's
can't
so
even
many of
remember
those
the original.
sorority killer movies. Yeah,
I don't even remember the original.
I'm sure I've got it.
Having to look it up. I don't recall it. No, I don't even recognize anyone that's in it.
When a Stranger Calls in
Oh,
2006.
gosh, they did remake that, didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't the original a TV movie?
Don't know.
It doesn't say here.
When a call girl is strange. That should have been the remake.
Every day, you mean? Oh.
So now I know the original one also because it's like, this is one thing I remember about the original. The extended opening sequence during which a psychopath terrorizes a babysitter over the phone helped cement 1979's When a Stranger Calls in popular imagination. Yeah, it was also hugely in what inspired the opening of Scream.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
And it also inspired the hell was it? It was the parody of it. Came out in the late 70s. Horsehead Bookends. Damn it.
Give us a clue, Andy.
It was it's right on the tip of my tongue too. Student Bodies.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah. I know. If I remember right, wasn't the hook of this whole thing is that they call back the operator doesn't get out of the house. The killer is calling you from inside the house.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Then you got The Bachelor in 1999, whatever the hell this was a remake of. A Buster Keaton inspired Buster Keaton film.
Come on,
What
that's
the
reach.
fuck?
That's a reach.
Wow, is that a remake
Wow.
at that point? A silent
Um,
film.
Did
Okay.
they remake that Journey to the Moon? That's a French.
I highly
movie.
doubt anybody involved with this
Lumiere.
movie saw the original. I mean, I vaguely remember this now because this is like when Chris O'Donnell's career was on a downward trend. Yeah.
Yeah, Journey to the Moon. That was remade by the Smashing Pumpkins, actually.
That's true. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well played. Well
Yeah,
played.
exactly.
Okay,
Using
The
same effects, I
Women,
think.
a testament to the power of female talent. The 1939's Women started an list of actresses, taking cues from the original film as well as the play before it. The 2009 remake, likewise, boasts a range of big actresses and not a single grown man. There was one problem: it forgot to be fun, according to numerous critics.
Well, that's what happens when you get a bunch of old women together. Like, of course, it's going to be fucking boring.
You're an ageist, Tom. You're just an ageist.
I know.
What about the First Wives Club? What?
Yeah, but imagine if they made it in 2023.
Wasn't that a remake too? No.
First Wives Club? I don't know.
I can't remember. I think they made a TV show of it or something like that. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Surely
Anyway.
everybody wants to see
Carry
movies
on.
with entirely female casts, don't they?
Yeah. The
Oh
Haunting,
yeah, this was real
wow.
bad.
With
This was
Liam Neeson, wow.
CGI Funhouse. It was so. I remember seeing this in the theater. Oh, it was terrible.
Yeah, wow.
Wow.
I was in a movie that was
What was
a
the Jen
remake.
DeBon?
Yeah.
I just remember a fireplace
Bond.
animated into like a devil mouth or something and tried to eat somebody in the house. It was like the worst kind of CGI, even for the era. It was like, oh god.
Remember
That
when I
wasn't-
tried to kill myself a few years ago?
That-
It was because I remembered I was in The Haunting. Yeah.
That wasn't
Oh, that's
described. That wasn't in the movie. That was just the tab that you dropped that night.
Now, what's her face in the middle there too? That's like that's like
Catherine
Catherine
Zeta-Jones.
Zeta-Jones on the left, and then the middle that's
Liam Neeson. Yeah, Liam
Uh,
Neeson.
I
White,
can't think of her name.
what's her
Lily,
name? Lily
Lily
Taylor.
Lily Taylor. Yeah.
Taylor,
I think. Yeah.
Fucking
It's a
all-star
good cast.
cast in this
It's
bitch,
a
right?
good
Like, what the
cast.
fuck?
Very good cast.
She
yeah.
was in a really great movie called The Addiction, which was a vampire film where the only time you'll ever see Christopher Walken playing a vampire. It's a,
Oh,
it's
I
a neat,
remember
neat little
that,
art
yeah.
film, and I think Abel Ferreira, I think,
Ferreira,
directed
yeah.
that one. Yeah, it was
Suck your
black
neck.
and white, interesting little movie.
Yeah.
You might like it, but then I'm gonna bite you. I don't know. I've never seen it.
No, he does great. He's only in the movie for like 5 minutes, but he totally makes the movie.
Oh, he can make. Oh, here we go.
Oh Lord!
One of the most idiotic ideas, and not only that, it's just they add nothing to it. They bring nothing new to the table.
Yeah.
Like
Sam Rockwell was in it though. He was all right.
Yeah, but it's like I thought about it while I'm watching it because like the only thing they really added or brought new to it, besides just switching some shit around in the story aspect of it, was just that basically like there's one part where her phone goes wonky or whatever, and it's like, why didn't you play with that a little bit more? We live in a world full of technology now,
Mhm.
right? When the original movie came out, all they could use to scare us with was the television and the phone. Now you have iPads, phones, shit everywhere, computers. Like, why didn't you play with that a little bit more? Why didn't you have some more fun with that? But they didn't. They didn't do anything with it. They really just did the same movie aside from, like I said, a few swaps of things. It was just one of the most pointless downgrades in the history of. And the little girl isn't a patch on Heather O'Rourke as far as an actress.
Not
Like
even close.
even as young as she was at that time, like people forget how young Heather was in the first movie because her and Drew Barrymore were both up for both roles, and it was basically up to Steven which one was going to do which, and he chose Drew to do E.T. because Drew just had like this weird quirky sense of humor, and he chose Heather to do Poltergeist because she was so angelic.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the whole point, is these ghosts think she's an angel and they're trying to follow her to the light. Like, I mean, I love the first Poltergeist. The first one's an amazing film. You guys haven't seen it. To me, it's on par with like The Exorcist as far as horror films go. But to try and remake it was just dumb.
Well,
And we forget,
second-
you didn't
the
bring
second
up
one
Toby
was-
Hooper as the director either.
Yeah.
The sequel to Poltergeist is pretty creepy with the.
I like the
guy-
sequels.
Before he got dementia and he elected on, so.
Y'all gonna die in there.
Yeah, that guy was creepy. I always associated him with Angus Scrimm from Phantasm. My mind put those two characters together, and I always thought there was some connection there.
Yeah. I don't know why they even bothered with this one. Gulliver's
Oh,
Travels.
Oh,
Is this another one? Does this count as
yeah.
a remake again? Like, really?
I don't know if
No.
it counts, but it's not good regardless.
Yeah, it was bad.
It's terrible.
I remember when I started. This is one of the few Jack Black movies at the time that I never finished.
There
Or
was
just,
a
like,
there was a
kinda shut it
version
off.
with Ted Danson that did a much better job.
TV
of
movie,
telling-
right?
Yeah, it was a TV movie, and as far as like being faithful to the source material, it was pretty entertaining. The effects
Well, it was
at
like a
the time,
3-night
obviously,
epic or something like that, wasn't it? Like they did.
yeah,
over, like, a couple
it took
nights.
its time. It did all the parts. So yeah, when I think of Gulliver's Travels on film, so to speak, I think first of the Ted Danson version, and this was just a waste of time.
Well, and this was trying to be Jack Black funny, but there was worse movies we could have got from this. We almost got Green Lantern with Jack Black in it at this time.
Oh jeez.
Yeah. And then we've got Knock Knock with Keanu
Oh,
Reeves.
this
I guess it
is
was a remake of Death Game. I didn't even know. So there you go. I don't even know what Death
okay.
Game is. Never heard of it. This movie sucks.
Don't recall that one.
And Eli Roth directed it, which is fucked up, but okay.
Well, he's done some garbage, so
Yeah, I guess I guess Death Wish wasn't the only remake he did, huh? Have you guys seen this one?
Nope.
Oh, it's horrible. It's a
Nope.
horrible movie.
Isn't
never-
Green Hell kind of a remake of Cannibal Holocaust anyway?
Oh, it could be.
I don't
Does it?
recall seeing Death Game either. It looks interesting though, I have to say.
The original must be a much better movie than
Sandra
this.
Locke. Sandra Locke.
Yeah.
It looks quite good. Yeah.
Downhill?
Hill.
Never even heard of this.
Swedish comedic thriller. Okay.
No.
Will Ferrell and Julia Louis-Dreyfus were in it? Okay. I really don't remember this movie. That's weird. Okay.
What's this?
Pulse from 2006.
Pulse.
Remake
Japanese
of Japanese
horror
horror film. Yeah.
Oh yeah, The Ring. Was The Ring on here? I guess it wasn't a bad remake by most people.
Yeah, I would say that one should probably too good for the list.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Then we've got The Roommate, which is a remake of Single Wife Female.
Wife
I didn't even know this.
What? Why?
When?
When did this get
2011,
made?
evidently.
Jesus.
What the hell?
Why?
What, were
Why
these
would
straight-
you try to do
were these
that?
straight to video or something? I've never heard
That's
of
what
it.
I'm
Yeah.
wondering. I've never even heard of this. It's inspired by. Does that even really? Is that considered the same thing? Like, unless it
Inspired by,
actually
yeah.
says it's a remake, I don't know if that counts.
Yeah, that's weak.
Oh, here we go. Black Christmas. Yeah.
See, I heard some people. I haven't seen it, but I heard some people actually liked this. So
I
I
was
don't
gonna say this is
it-
one that. Yeah, I thought you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it disappointed. And only
guess.
4.6 on the IMDb scale.
Hmm.
So there you go.
Ah, yeah,
Oh.
there you go.
Now I'm still
Completely
trying to
unnecessary.
find this.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever heard this story, Scribe, but I can't remember if it's an interview with Gus Van Sant or somebody who knew Gus Van Sant,
Mhm.
where they flat out said that the only reason Gus did this is because Universal was gonna do it anyway. And his idea was if I remake it shot for shot
Mhm.
and just miscast it, nobody will ever
Oh.
try to do this again.
Oh, I remember
So his
hearing
whole
that
point
story.
was like, yeah, I swear I've heard that somewhere. Like after the fact, like he totally trolled Universal Pictures and cost them a buttload of money and everything like that to make it, and like
Yeah.
so that
See,
they would
that makes-
never try to do it again.
That makes perfect sense because what's his name? I suddenly forgot. Vince Vaughn. Vince Vaughn is the worst possible choice
Right?
for Norman Bates. I mean, if you didn't already know
and
the
Hesh.
twist. Well, see, the thing about the original that made it at the time, I assume I wasn't alive at that time, but Anthony Perkins, if you're going into that movie blank, Anthony Perkins does not look anything like a threat.
No, you
He's
should have
just
got
this
if you're
nervous-
trying to really get it, it should have been like Edward Norton or something like that. Sorry.
Edward
go ahead.
Norton or Steve Buscemi or something, some kind of like wussy weakling, kind of, unassuming. But Vince Vaughn looks like a thug. He looks like a gangster. He looks like somebody who could hurt people. So him being Norman
He looks
Bates,
like a
it's
truck
oh,
driver.
yeah,
Yeah.
that too. Yeah, that too. But yeah, Anne Heche and everything. Yeah, no, that. I mean, it was an interesting movie experience to be able to put them side by side and just see how exact he got it down by the cuts and the shots and everything else. But in color and with that cast, if that was his plan,
It
I
makes
think he
sense in
succeeded.
a weird way if
It
you think
does,
about
yeah.
it. Like in almost this weird, like it's almost like a troll, but like it worked
It's
because
the
it was a
sexu-
horrible flop.
It's the sexual chemistry between the two leads that really works.
Oh yeah, totally, totally. Yeah, that should be number fucking one anyway.
That's a remake.
It should have been.
I did not know this was a remake, a French comedy.
French comedy, of course. Of course.
Joe Taxi.
I hated this movie, but I remember this being so fucking popular on DVD when it came out. Oh my god, it rented like hotcakes.
Ay, caramba.
Jeez.
Ay, caramba, indeed.
The Shaggy Dog
Shaggy
is on here.
Dog,
We actually
there you
brought
go.
this up earlier. We said this shouldn't be on here, but I guess it is. Oh yeah, Robert Downey Jr. was in this too.
Hmm.
Brian Robbins directed. Yeah, I don't know. I guess people don't like this one so much, huh? Number 8, LOL.
Okay. Let me. It's another French. Another
Miley
French
Cyrus
yeah.
stars in a romantic based on a French con. Yeah.
WTF?
Yeah. OMG.
Prom night. Now we're getting there.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Prom night. Yeah.
Soon after starring in Halloween, Scream Queen Jamie Lee Curtis headlined the original Prom Night. That ended up spawning a sequel that was unrelated to the original.
I know.
And they just called it that. Yeah.
Yeah. Hello, Mary Lou. Prom night 2.
Night 2. Yeah. I remember that being on cable constantly in the late 80s there. PG-13 remake. Similarly, oh, there's your first problem.
Yeah.
Similarly finds a bunch of girls terrorized before senior prom. No. And Prom Night's one of those classic ones, yeah. This is one of the worst. Oh my god.
Yeah, that was bad.
Who thought it would this is the second thing. John Carpenter movies are John Carpenter movies for a reason. Like, he may have a little bit of an ego, but the motherfucker knew what he was doing when he says, I'll do the movie as long as my name's over the title.
Yeah, well, Ghosts of Mars.
I don't care. Regardless,
I wouldn't mind a remake of Ghost of Mars. I'll tell you.
That doesn't even need a remake. No, we just need to forget that even exists. But second of all, why are you going to go back to the best of John Carpenter's shit and try to remake it? Like stuff that is quintessentially John Carpenter. Mm-hmm. This goes back to the whole thing we were just talking about, Psycho, right? Like, you're right. Psycho based on a book doesn't matter. What we think about Psycho, we think about Anthony Perkins. We think about Alfred Hitchcock's fucking Psycho.
Yeah.
When I think of The Fog, I think of John Carpenter's The Fog. Right? What were they thinking? And not only that, it's like the CW version because you got Tom Welling in the fucking movie.
That's
Superman.
Right.
And Adrienne Barbeau with her assets.
Yeah. Right? In the original? Oh my gosh. And yeah, they should have called it Stinky Fog.
Standout performance, I would say.
Yeah. Well, she played the DJ in the original one.
Yeah,
that's great. I think, does she make a cameo in this one? She might.
Yeah, no. The John Carpenter remake they still need to do is Memoirs of an Invisible Man.
Oh God, he didn't even want to make that movie. I don't think.
know.
That was one I think he did for a paycheck. See, that's the thing. Whenever his movies suck, that's usually the case. But when you can tell when he's putting his heart and soul into these bitches. The Wicker Man.
Oh, man.
This is an
It gave us so many
atrocity.
memes, though. It gave
This
us so
should have.
many memes.
Yeah, okay. I'll give credit for
It's one
the
of those
memes,
remakes
but
that's
it's
so bad it's good.
bad.
They're
It's
terrible.
so bad.
Punching the bear and the bees. I'm telling you, that
It's
was
an
worth the price of
atrocity.
admission.
A total atrocity
Bees.
I see bees.
compared to the original.
Look
It's a
at the bees.
beloved classic.
Yeah.
What are you doing? What are you doing? No, not the bees. Bees.
Yeah, the Edward Woodward and Christopher Lee in that original is so psychedelically weird and uncomfortable the entire time. It's so good.
It's brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant movie.
Can't remake that. You just can't. You can't. Yeah. No.
Well, and it's kind of quintessentially of its time too.
That too.
Yeah, well, the original's coming out on 4K soon, so there you go.
Swept
Away.
Oh, that's
okay, this is
right.
the movie that I think damn near killed Guy Ritchie's career for a while. didn't it?
Yeah. Well, Madonna did that, but yeah.
Well, not only that, I think this ended her acting career.
He
for a couple
married her.
years.
It's his fault.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it was a remake of the 70s film, I guess.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember this one because not only that, it was like one of the biggest flops of all time, too.
And bombed.
Barbed Wire. How's this a remake?
Casablanca.
Technically based on a comic book, is also
You
sort
didn't
of
know
remake
this?
of Casablanca. I did not know.
Yeah.
that.
Sort of a
How,
remake.
how is this a remake of Casablanca?
I guess so.
I don't see it.
Well, it's there. You just have to sort of watch the plot beats and everything. And yeah, it's a loose remake of Casablanca.
I guess
I don't know
they
that I
rounded-
call it an
And that-
actual remake, but
I
yeah.
guess they rounded
I
up the usual suspects in it.
I see
That
your
too.
point, Scribe, but to me, it's like when you change enough things and then you change the name. To me, I don't really consider that a remake because when you have a remake, you're kind of repeating the same story. the
I
name.
agree.
I don't consider this a remake. Now that doesn't mean that this movie is good because it's an atrocity.
No, but what you're saying,
I
Nick,
don't consider this a remake because, and I've made
if
that
that's the
argument
case,
before,
then
that-
Joker would be a remake of Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
It was
Right.
RJ
Yeah, it
Godzilla
would
saying the
straight up
structure
be-
is
you get it,
Casablanca's.
Tom.
Yeah, right. Like I said, it's not a remake in the actual sense, but it does basically lift the beats and everything. The other thing too is that, and I think it said so in the capsule there, is this is a takeoff on a comic book. Dark Horse Comics did a series of comic books at that time, Barbed Wire being one of them. It was all in this sort of separate new universe with a bunch of characters, but there were characters in that series that would have made way better movies like X and Ghost, and they didn't even touch those. And so I was kind of like,
Well, wasn't
why?
The Mask one of their other ones too? And they went and totally.
The Mask was Dark Horse, but that was a whole separate universe. It's its own thing or whatever. But I think the only reason this got picked up is because Pamela Anderson said yes, and she was hot, literally and figuratively at the time. So why not?
Oh, okay. Stripper. I was trying to think. Wasn't this the one that she had something to do? No, Stripperella that she had.
Stripperella was different, yeah. Although she does some stripping in this movie though in a bathtub.
No, but that's the one I was trying to think. Didn't she have something to do with the creation of it? And that was Stripperella. That's the one.
Yes. Yeah.
It's set in a future America where there's no shortage of silicone.
I was going to say, yeah, Black Christmas is one they made twice. That's right.
I thought people liked this one too, though.
No, I think one of them they did, one of them they didn't.
Oh, wasn't that it?
I think you're right on
Okay.
the other one because that one was much higher on the list, sir.
Yeah, maybe that was it. Okay.
Yeah, this is what I was going to say. I was going to say this earlier? Didn't
All
they
right.
remake
So
this?
what's the number
again?
one? What's the number
Okay,
one?
kids, ladies and gentlemen, boys
Oh,
and
here we
girls,
go.
here we go.
Some French thing, probably.
Go.
Yeah.
Roller.
Good choice.
Garrett, yeah, very good choice.
That
Yeah, there you
actually
go.
I don't know
is
about number
very
one,
good.
but evidently.
Yeah, I don't
It's-
know if I agree with that number, but dude, I remember being in middle school when this hit.
How
theaters,
is
and I-
Ghostbusters not number one?
Yeah, I agree. I remember kids in my grade in middle school when this came out were so hyped about this. And I remember laughing, saying, "Man, this looks like it sucks." And everyone's like, "Oh, come on, it looks good." And they're
I
using
mean-
all the slang words at the time to talk about how good it looks. And then it came out. Everyone was like, "Wow, this is a terrible flick."
Mm.
This
I've never
brings back
actually seen
so
this.
many memories.
But the problem is I have with this is that the original film isn't all that great to begin with. It's good,
No, it's
but it's
not.
like
No.
I went to see it at the cinema. I'm that old. The original. Saw it in the cinema.
Yeah, you'd think the worst one would be like an excellent original film, like one that's practically legendary, and then somebody doing something cruddy with the material. And that Rollerball, on the one hand, sure, it's not a very good movie, but yeah, like you say, the first one wasn't exactly,
The first one
legendary.
is pretty good. I mean, it's just it's been done. There was nothing they could do with it. What else
No.
could you really do with it? It made all its points in the first one. Why remake it? Make the
Was
same
not
points?
only that, it's been ripped off quite a few times. That was the thing, is the original's
Yeah.
decent enough, but they had redone it so many different, not redone it, quote unquote, but like it had been ripped off and done in so many other different films already.
Oh, was Ben Hur on this list? Sorry, I
No,
forgot.
surprisingly,
No.
but
Right, yeah, because Putin's cat just mentioned Ben Hur. But, yeah.
Was
But yeah,
was Total Recall on earlier that I missed?
no, Total Recall wasn't on here. Ghostbusters wasn't on here. Planet of
Fright
the
Night?
Apes wasn't on here. What?
Fright Night?
Oh, fuck yeah. Fright Night wasn't on here.
What?
See,
Really?
Planet of the Apes is another one. Does that count as a readaptation? I don't know.
None of the
They
Disney
did
live
Total
action
Recall,
remake.
but it doesn't matter. We're going by their rules, and by
They've
their
just
rules, it
based
should have
this-
been on here.
they've just based this on the IMDb rating, though. So if
Yeah,
it was
They
above a
did,
certain
which
level,
is fair. So I can't really,
If
you
it
know,
was
I
above a
can't-
certain level, it wouldn't be on the list.
Yeah, so if it reached about, because
Straw
5.5
dogs,
was
yeah.
the first one we had, so anything above a 5.5
Hmm.
is okay.
All right.
Planet of the Apes.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Galen
here's
the
another one. I can't
Robocop.
believe Godzilla 98 must rate
Yeah,
that
how's
much
that
higher.
not in here?
Like-
I like. Don't get me wrong. Rollerball sucks, but
Yellow
Godzilla
Flash will be
98,
happy at least.
Yeah, I thought was an absolute
Well,
atrocity. I remember
Godzilla 90 was a reimagining. Come on, he was laying eggs and stuff, you know.
Still, but okay, so this is
it
why
was
because
different enough that it should be called something different.
Yeah.
here's the
It
thing:
was.
if they would have took all these fucking French remakes off of here,
Yeah.
some of these other ones would have made it.
Oh,
but
Sean
I don't know
Green
about them.
brings up
yeah.
a good one. Rob Zombie Halloween 2.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Sean. How
Even the
was
first
that
one is
not
not
on the
that
list?
great.
No, it's
No.
not.
No,
It's
none of them
not
are
good.
It didn't age
But
well at
man,
all either.
Halloween 2 was an absolute
Trash
atrocity. And I remember because I grew up, I remember people were trying to defend the first one, even though it seemed like some people kind of knew it. The first one wasn't really good, but there was no denying the second one. You couldn't spin your way out of that second one.
Oh,
if
I
you
know that one was
tried.
horrible. Oh my God, I was so, and not only that, to double the piss off, he has that fucking dream sequence in it. So it's like, so you're not really gonna make Halloween 2, are you?
Right.
Nope.
You fucking bastard. Like, and then what is this horse shit? Like literal horse shit? Like you got a fucking white horse running around. What the fuck does this got to do with
You're
Halloween?
talking Blade
And then
Runner
you
now?
took-
Oh, it was a
No, I
unicorn.
know, right? It's like, who the fuck do you think you are? Ridley fucking Scott? And then not only that, it's like, since when is Michael Myers a fucking mama's boy? What the fuck is this shit?
Norman Bates Myers.
What the hell is going on here? The only thing that I appreciated about his Halloween 2 was it was the first time I felt like we finally saw one of these characters, what they would really be like, how fucked up they would really be if they had to deal with this shit. Because the way they got Laurie acting in that movie is spot on, if you ask me, as far as somebody with like PTSD or whatever.
Right.
Like the way she's acting in that movie. That's the only thing that they got, if you ask me, because she's all like emo and dark now and all like fucking like, I fucking hate the world and shit. But we never really got to see Laurie after that first night. So that's not a fair comparison, until H2O, which by the time we get to H2O, she's still pretty fucked up. Right. And that's the version I like better anyway. So whatever.
Was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory on this?
No, that's another one. But then again, a
Yeah.
readaptation, but I don't know if they
Yeah.
count it. Some
How-
people
okay.
actually like that stupid fucking remake.
How about a remake? I guess it wasn't the worst thing ever, but I guess as far as like disappointment, The Wolfman.
Well, that's just it. Which one has it ever been officially remade? Those Scribes?
Well, it was the same characters, story, and everything else, except for came back with the Anthony Hopkins character wasn't in the original, so I guess it's different enough. It's not technically a remake.
that
but
one with
still.
Benicio del Toro. Yeah.
Yes.
So that was kind of a remake thingy. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't see that one. The only I was trying to think, have they ever done? Same thing with Dracula. Like they've done tons of Draculas.
Yeah.
But again, unless it's kind of a straight up remake of the original Dracula, which I guess the closest thing you could say that was a remake to the Bela Lugosi Dracula would be what, the Frank Langella one from the 80s?
Probably.
Kind of a remake of that.
Yeah.
Great movie.
That's
That
what I
was
mean.
good,
So
though.
like again,
Yeah.
that would probably fall in the better remakes.
Yeah, it's a
category.
great movie. Langella, John Badham.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm trying to think, is that more like the book, or is that actually more of a remake of the original film?
Yeah,
I'm
that's
trying to
tricky.
remember now.
It's tricky, yeah. I think it's more of a.
It's kind of a mix.
More of a mix. Yeah,
Well, because
it's-
people got to remember, here's the other problem with a lot of this readaptation shit. We had plays up until movies started becoming a thing. A lot of people would make plays out of books.
Yes.
So a lot of times what we saw as the first movies and shit were like the play adaptations of these books.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times would inspire those versions.
Well,
so like,
Dracula was one that Langella played him on.
that was my
Broadway or
point
whatever.
exactly.
Yeah,
Was like, yeah, that the original Bela Lugosi one was based more on the play than it was based on the book.
Mhm.
And that's the other thing too, is like, the like the Hammer one, was that kind of more of a remake of the original one, or is that more of a?
Well, they tried to. Yeah, I think that's more of a remake of the Lugosi.
So
I
those
don't
two
know.
could
Hammer
fall in
always-
that category. Oh, who
Hammer
we
always
lose?
said they were going to go back to the original story.
Oh, Nick.
Nick's gone over.
Yeah, we'll head over there in a
I'll
minute.
plug Nick's shit for him. while
Yeah,
I'm-
we'll Nick has a big show coming up Tuesday, which is the 100th Toxic Tuesday, and you know what it is going to be, right?
I like turtles.
Yeah, it's gonna be off the fucking. Not that one. Get the fucking thing. Why do you even have? I
kidding.
I got it. Actually, I have the 3D version because I got
This
it.
is
cheap.
all right. Yeah, this is okay.
Yeah, how you know Pet Cemetery, does that count as a remake? But it wasn't on here, I guess. So
What have you got
You
against
know?
Megan Fox? That's what I want to know.
well, her boyfriend got killed in
Those
Friday the 13th.
Those thumbs.
Those thumbs.
Them thumbs.
Those toe thumbs, is that what they call them?
Toe thumbs. Yeah, toe thumbs.
I never believed it until I actually saw them. I'm like, holy shit,
Oh,
those do
yeah.
look weird.
Yeah, so
What
I
the
saw it the
fuck?
first time. I thought it was photoshopped, and I was like, nope, that's really her.
What the
toe
hell?
thumbs. Yeah.
All right.
She's a little psycho.
I've heard stories. Okay, we got a few member chats and super chats. Toxic Man Flu says, I should have stayed. LOL. Just kidding. Love you time. No, we wish you would have been able to stay, Tox. ActionCom says, that's not what Lifetime movie Depp said. In Depp versus Her, the Lifetime movie, they said Depp's friend put in a good word for him to pay bills. They got it wrong. Completely fucking wrong then. Because that is the fucking true story. He did not want to be an actor. He was playing in a band at the time, and he needed a ride to band practice, and that's the only reason he was fucking there. He was just hanging around waiting for Jackie to get done with it, because you guys got to remember also the age Jackie was, and Jackie was a big actor at this time because he had been in the Bad News Bears and shit, and so he went.
Sorry, I was going to say Johnny Depp's is a very Robert Evans type of origin story. It's just like he kind of was just at the right moment at the right time, and then boom.
Yeah. Like he was just sitting there with his slicked back hair and a leather jacket, just hanging around in the fucking with a bunch of other teenage men or not teenage, but like men from their late teens to early 20s, I guess it probably would have been, you know. And he just happened to, like, everybody just looked at him and, hey, did you audition yet? He's like, no, I'm not here to audition. You know, that's probably what happened. Because they just looked at anybody at that time period and, hey, you know, get on here. I mean, that's really how it happened from what I heard. So, Rob Altus says, no joke. I was driving on a nice LA evening with Spotify on shuffle, and I Look Good on You come on. Thoroughly enjoyed it in the car. Wait, that's on Spotify? Man, I'm on Spotify?
You must
What?
be.
Are you getting paid for royalties from that?
No.
Uh-oh. Got to get those streaming numbers. You got to
Yeah,
you should
but
go on
can't
strike
you-
now.
Where's
But
my
can't-
Spotify money?
Can't you upload your own stuff onto Spotify? Or
I don't know. I'm part of
don't
this
have it.
thing that might have put it on there because that's the thing I found out, to actually be part of like Apple Music and some of these other things. You have to have like all these credentials and all this other shit and pay all this shit, and you're like, so otherwise you got to go through one of these companies. So I pay this company a fee every year to handle it, and I make about what I pay in the fee every year plus $10 so far is what I made on my song.
Well,
$10 is $10.
And then
Yeah, you
like, I don't know, and they're supposed to put it everywhere, like Amazon. So they might have put it on Spotify. I don't know. I don't know how Spotify works. Oh, he bought it. Oh, okay, so that's how it works.
Oh, well, now you can afford that stick of gum you always wanted.
$10 is $10. That's right. That's right.
Groovy.
Well, that wraps up this show. Head on over to Culture Stream. They're live, and this will head you over there. Andy, anything you got coming up you want to plug at all?
I will be on Doomcock's Pop Culture Breakdown on Wednesday night. Make sure you check us out over there. And Rancor Steve's show Tuesday night for Manorama, where we'll be discussing men and loneliness.
That's an interesting discussion, mate. Yeah.
Help out those young men that are struggling with all these issues.
Yeah. Good one to tackle. It's a good one, yeah.
What you got coming up, Brian?
Oh, lots of groovy stuff. Monday. Tomorrow, is that tomorrow? Monday tomorrow? It's only Talk and Roll, 3 p.m. Mountain Time on my channel. We're doing Motorhead. It's Motorhead madness and mayhem. Where we are going to pay tribute to the late Lemmy and the glorious thrash that is Motorhead. Nick will be there. Nick Weiser will be guesting. And on Tuesday night, it is the 100th Toxic Tuesday on Nick Weiser's channel. And
I like turtles.
We're doing Tom will be there. We're doing the 1990, not the other one, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
There you go.
So that 100, we've made it to 100 on Toxic Tuesday, and next it's going to be such good fun. So please come over and watch that, everybody. Tuesday night.
Question: who can play guitar better, God or Lemmy?
Well, you see, Lemmy was a bass guitarist, not a guitarist. So strictly speaking, he probably was the best.
Trick
at the
question:
bass
Lemmy
then.
is God.
Lemmy is God. And he also has a.
What movie is that from?
He also has a son that looks suspicious. Nick looks suspiciously like he could be Lemmy's son.
He does.
Yeah.
You still didn't
Yeah.
answer what movie that's from.
I can't remember now. So I'm
Technically,
Airheads.
God. was
Airheads, right?
Eric Clapton's nickname was God.
It was. And then, but as Eric Clapton said after he saw Jimi Hendrix at the Marquee Club, he turned to Pete Townsend and said, "It's over for us now." So
That's what my other favorite one that Eric Clapton always said. Some reporter goes, "How does it feel to be the greatest lead guitarist of all time?" He goes, "I don't know. Ask Prince."
Yeah.
Anyway, you got something coming up, Scribe?
Just my weekly show on Thursdays, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, TED Excellence, where I take a look at TEDx Talks or TED Talks of Interest. This past week, it was how gene splicing will cure climate change.
The what?
Yeah, exactly. That was my question, which is why I need to know the answer to that question. So that was this past Thursday show. So if you want to know the argument for why gene editing,
Like,
will
are they going to
cure
make
the
a
climate,
turducken or something? Or
you may or may not be amazed by the answer, but I'll leave that to you and the audience to explore for yourselves over on my channel.
when is this again? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Oh, this was last Thursday show. This is already up. This will, yeah. So yeah, this is last. I don't know.
I
until
watched
about
like the
maybe
first
Tuesday.
5 minutes, and I think I missed the rest.
Yeah, no, it was an education, and then but the real secret is when he got into the implicative stuff. I won't give it away, but at one point he starts talking about certain regulations and things and what they can do with seeds, and it was what wasn't said. You read between the lines, and something very insidious was implied in that talk. But I'll leave that for anybody else that wants to watch it.
Interesting. All right. Well, thank you for being here, Scribe. We appreciate you.
I appreciate the invite.
And yeah. All right. Well, see you guys over on comics, or I mean, culture, wherever we're going. I don't even know anymore.
Culture.
What?
Yeah.
Culture.
Stop eating my sesame cake.
Stop eating my sesame cake!
Mm-hmm.